The old man saunters over, laughing like a maniac. At your level, there's no way you can break my illusion. In just a few moments, your life force is going to be completely drained away and become a nice little power-up for me, he cackles. But if you kneel and beg for your life, maybe I'll spare you. But he didn't get to gloat for long. Suddenly, the entire block of ice explodes into hundreds of pieces. Xiaofan emerges completely unharmed and starts walking forward, one deliberate step at a time. A fiery red glint flashes in his eyes, like the feathers of a phoenix taking flight behind him. He scoffs, "You really have the nerve to use such a pathetic little trick?" Seeing this, Sikong's face just twists up. He seriously can't believe this brat actually broke his illusion. Still, his own power was way beyond the transformation stage, brushing right up against the divine connection realm. This kid wasn't even at the half-step divine level. All right then, time to bring out the big guns. I admit I underestimated you. But if you won't serve me, then I'll just have to kill you. Then he opens his mouth and spews out a massive cloud of smoke. The smoke spreads out everywhere, with huge claps of thunder and brilliant flashes of purple lightning. Sikong uses the chaos to shoot up into the sky, with ghostly white figures flickering in and out of view around him. The entire mountain is now a sea of fire, with lightning crashing down non-stop. It's a freaky scene, with Sikong just floating in midair. He looks down at his handiwork with pride and declares, "Inside this illusion, forged from the very essence of my life's blood, my power is pushed to its absolute max. I could even go toe-to-toe with a true master of the divine realm." Xiaofan, standing below, just watches this overconfident weirdo stare at the sky. The old man cracks a savage grin and barks out an order. "To mortals, I am a demon king, lord of all. Now get on your knees." Lian Yu, hiding on the side, can't help but frown. He actually turned the whole mountain into a living hell. This stinky old geezer is terrifyingly strong, and even though Ha Huang took a serious beating earlier in the fight, she's still watching everything unfold, a smug and confident smile on her face. With moves like that, Master Chen is a real god. Li Xiaofan is totally toast this time, but Xiaofan just lets out an arrogant laugh. You? You think you're worthy of being called a demon king? Please. Even the gods themselves have to kneel when they see me. He quickly gathers energy into one leg, declaring proudly, "Looks like you're all out of fancy moves. I guess it's time to end this little game." Then he stomps his foot, shattering the ground around him, blasts through the smoke, and launches himself into the air. Xiaofan lands hard on a towering peak, sending rocks flying everywhere, and begins to cast his spell. The corners of his eyes suddenly blaze with fire. A massive phoenix materializes out of thin air, hurtling straight for Sikong. He screams, "Get down here now!" The old man just casually shoots back. "You've got some nerve, you shameless brat." With a quick chant, his sword flies from its sheath, morphing into a spear. He swings his arm, sending the spear made of countless evil spirits flying down. "Come on, kid. You're way too slow. Pathetically slow, like a snail. You really think you can challenge me with that? That's like throwing an egg at a stone, a suicide mission." The sharp spear slams into Xiaofan's stomach, and he coughs up blood. Tukong was gloating, totally full of himself. "Yeah, this is what happens when you mess with me." Then suddenly, the old man's eyes shot wide open in shock. What? Down below, what was supposed to be Xiaofan's body was just fading away. In a blink, the only thing left on the ground was a deep spear hole. Then a voice echoed from behind Tukong, "You dare fight me moving at a snail's pace?" Somehow, Xiaofan was already standing right there behind the old guy. A shimmering phantom rose up, mirroring his movements, "And I'm returning that insult right back at you." The phantom's fingertips began to glow as he chanted the incantation. "Celestial Saint's Art. One finger to quell the seas." The second he finished, it shot down, crushing Tukong and making the old man scream in agony. "Ah!" The hand slammed him hard into the cliff face. The old man's eyes rolled back in shock. How was this possible? His life's greatest illusion technique shattered so easily by some punk kid? Tukong's body flopped down at the base of the mountain, just as Xiaofan casually strolled over. Then Xiaofan dropped a line so full of swagger that the whole area went dead silent. "If I wasn't curious to see what a half-step divine martial artist could do, you would have been dead in one hit." Tukong staggered, spitting out a mouthful of blood. "He's too strong. I couldn't even block a single move. If this keeps up, I'm a dead man." Knowing his place, the old man bowed his head in defeat, dropping to his knees without resistance. He then started slamming his forehead on the ground, whimpering and begging for his life. "Master, spare me. Please, I'm begging you. Absolutely, do not kill me." Without a word, Xiaofan suddenly lifted his foot and stomped the man's head into the dirt. "Oof!" He then glanced over, his eyes landing on Ha Huang, who sat there stunned. "Ha Huang, the great Master Tran you worshipped is currently being stepped on by me. Anything you'd like to add?" Her face went pale, raw panic showing in her eyes. If only she'd known. If she'd just listened to Li Xiaofan in the first place, things wouldn't have ended up like this. Clasping her hands, she sobbed, begging for any shred of hope. Xiaofan, I'm sorry. It's my fault I was blind. Please forgive me. Just give me one more chance, please. He remained silent, coldly turning his head away. Suddenly, a chain shot down from above, moving like a striking snake. It wrapped around Ha Huang's body, making her shriek in terror. Ah, the chains pulsed with a powerful electric shock, making her writhe in silent agony. Unable to take it any longer, she collapsed, while the chain simply tightened its deadly grip on her body. Xiaofan watched it all unfold, asking with a knowing look, Tran Tu Kong, is this your handiwork? Hearing that, the old man panicked, waving his hands frantically while stammering out a denial. Master, spare me. This has nothing to do with me. This altar was built on Kangmang Mountain hundreds of years ago. And besides, those iron chains are crazy evil. When they get mad, they attack me too. The old man knelt on the ground, pleading his case. All I do here is cultivate my chilling yin energy. I know nothing else. Tu Kong's voice trembled, tears streaming down his face as he begged and pleaded with the young master. I worked so hard to achieve my level of power. As long as you don't kill me, I'll be your loyal workhorse to repay your grace. As he finished, Xiaofan furrowed his brow, his gaze growing distant. As his own cultivation level rises, he'll have more and more things to deal with. Li Bo, after all, is just an ordinary person with limited abilities. He really did need a subordinate with some actual power. After considering it, he made his decision. Seeing as you know your place, I'll spare your pathetic life. But from now on, you will follow my every command, no matter what. Tu Kong was overjoyed to be spared. Mr. Li, from now on, this worthless life is yours. I'd walk through fire and water for you without hesitation. Xiaofan waved a hand, his tone firm, like he was ordering around some lowly servant. Just get lost for now. I'll find you later. The old man happily scrambled away. Yes, yes. Hu Dong, who had been watching from the side, was completely floored. Is this even the same Li Xiaofan that I know? How could he have changed so much? Xiaofan gently lifted Le Qian's head, leaning down to give her a strength-restoring pill. This black pearl was actually the life essence that had been accumulated by Zhang Lequian's 9-yin mystic body. The cold, sinister yin energy on the pearl had been absorbed from those very same iron chains. His deep, abyss-like eyes landed on his friend, lying motionless in his arms. Could a normal person like Ha Huang really awaken the 100 souls within someone? It seemed the secrets of the 9-yin mystic body ran deeper than he ever imagined. His thoughts quickly connected all the pieces into a logical chain. Tran Tu Kong had been using Zhang Lequian's 9-yin mystic body to absorb all that cold yin energy for his own personal use. But now that Tran Tu Kong had been properly taught a lesson, he figured the old man wouldn't dare harm people anymore. It wasn't clear when Le Qian had woken up, but her weak voice immediately grabbed his attention. Xiaofan, thank you for saving me. The group slowly shuffled away, looking totally exhausted, moving at a pace that wasn't quite fast or slow. They walked in silence, until one guy just had to stop for a dramatic look back at those mysterious iron chains, which just screamed weird and dangerous. Acting rashly could put Fang Xiaodong and Zhang Lequan in serious danger, just like He Xiang. Nope, the only move was to level up his own skills and come back later to figure things out. Lair Qian's clear voice rang out, not even trying to hide her sheer delight. Xiaofan, you are seriously blowing my mind. Then Bing Quan finally spilled what he'd been thinking the whole time. Where in the world did you learn all this? You even managed to take down Master Chen. Xiaofan kept a perfect poker face and spun a lie so smooth, nobody would ever think to question it. Well, one time I was traveling alone in the Shu Mountains, got lost, and accidentally fell off a cliff, but luckily some old Taoist priest saved me. He's the one who taught me everything I know. And she just nodded slightly, as if she totally understood his completely believable story. She figured, oh well, if Xiaofan doesn't want to talk, she wouldn't push it everyone has their secrets, right? Hu Dong just walked silently behind everyone else, feeling like he and Xiaofan weren't even in the same league anymore. He'd always seen Xiaofan as this little brother that he had to take care of. He never imagined the kid would suddenly become this hero he had to look up to. And of course, Xiaofan instantly sensed his friend's change of mood. He never expected that this trip would end up building a huge wall between him and Dong. With his eyes fixed forward, he made a promise Dong would always be his ride-or-die friend. No matter what trouble he got into down the line, he'd be there to help. Sometime later, on a bright, clear morning, Xiaofan and his dad stood before a huge hotel. Xiaofan, every year before the ancestor worship ceremony, your first and second uncles host a big family dinner. But since our town of Yunzhou is so small, this 3-star hotel is the only option. Your first uncle feels that only a booking here can properly show off the family status. A sad look crossed his face. This year is just like last year, they didn't even invite the two of us to the family dinner. He sighed. Seeing his dad so down, he quickly tried to comfort him. Dad, don't worry. This hotel used to belong to the Zhao family, but today, it's ours. Let's see who dares stop you now. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. Oh, right, Dad. You've never had a decent watch before. This one is a gift from Ouyang Bei for you. Go on, try it on. Just hearing it was a gift from Bei was enough for his dad to put it on excitedly. That Ouyang Bei is such a good kid, this watch must be incredibly expensive. Without hesitating, the two of them walked inside. Come on, Dad. Okay, let's go. Inside a private dining room at the hotel, the members of the Li family were laughing and having a great time. The door, which had been closed, suddenly burst open. The younger people in the room looked shocked, while the older ones just stared silently at the entrance. In the doorway, the figures of Cheng Shan and his son stood silent and strong, a sight that seemed to burn itself into your memory. Before they could even step all the way in, Cheng Lin scowled and snapped, "Third brother, why are you two here?" He was probably thinking, I specifically warned them not to come, so how dare they have the nerve to show their faces? They had no right to be eating in a high-class hotel like this. Being seen with this poor father and son would only lower the family's status. If anyone saw them together, they'd be too embarrassed to even show their faces in public. Meanwhile, Xiaofan was just brimming with confidence. Back when he was powerless, he had to sit and eat with this obnoxious uncle for his father's sake. But now, he was the great profound heavenly master, a respected figure in the heavens, worshipped by thousands. He quietly prepared a seat for his father. As if it were the most obvious thing in the world, he figured his presence at this dinner of peasants was already a huge honor for them. Xiaofan let out a slight smirk, his voice dripping with sarcasm. This seat was supposed to be for Li Xiaoyun, but that jerk is in the hospital right now, so he couldn't make it. He gently pulled out a chair beside his dad and sat down. Li Chunglin, this hotel is now registered in my name. It was a statement so shocking, no one even knew how to react. What does us coming here to eat have anything to do with you? Then they all burst out laughing like it was the joke of the year. Cheng Lin laughed loudly, his tone mocking. Oh, third brother, you really raised a good son. He goes to Chuzhou for a few days, comes back with no new skills, but he definitely learned how to brag. Haha. After laughing, he switched into a condescending lecture, and on top of that, he has absolutely no respect for his elders, daring to call me by my full name. You really think you're hot stuff now and have forgotten your place. Do you even still consider me your uncle? Not wanting to make a scene, Cheng Shan said calmly, Big brother, don't be angry. He then happily shared his son's success. Xiaofan wasn't lying. My son is not the same person he was before. You all shouldn't look at him with the same old eyes. It's been a long time, and he's improved so much. Thanvan laughed so hard he started crying. Ha ha ha, you're talking about Li Xiaofan? He spoke up, his voice dripping with smug confidence. I was going to let you save face, but since you're making stuff up, don't blame me for exposing the truth. Holding nothing back, he rattled off details about the kid as if he knew everything. I heard you're in Chuzhou working as an intern teacher for some school, making a measly 3,000 or 4,000 yuan a month. How did you suddenly become the boss of this place overnight? Turns out, the need to step on others for fun runs in this family's DNA. What, do you know the Monkey King's 72 transformations? Or are you just still asleep and daydreaming? Xiao Yu glanced at her brother, adding her own snide comment. Brother Thanvan, just drop it. Let's pretend we saw nothing. We should leave Li Xiaofan and his dad a little dignity. My uncle is this old and he still has to help his son keep up this lie. Her sly eyes darted around to add to the effect. They're so shameless we can't really make a big scene, can we? You have to be charitable. Haha, Thanvan completely agreed with that. Haha, my cousin is so right, you have to be charitable. He then stood up and sneered right in the kid's face. Li Xiaofan, Mr. Li, if you really own this 3-star hotel, shouldn't the front desk manager be over here waiting on you? Funny, he doesn't seem to be around. But don't you worry, because he just so happened to know the guy. Thanvan just had to keep his troublemaking mouth running. I'll call him right now. Get him over here to pour Mr. Li a drink. Meanwhile, Cheng Lin looked like he was about to pop a blood vessel. Third brother, what is even the point of all this? My not showing up was a kindness to you all, a heavy burden I carried. Why can't you understand the struggles of your big brother? Across the way, Cheng Feng sat off to the side, tapping his fingers on the table with a slow, deliberate rhythm full of hidden meaning. That's right, birds of a feather flock together. With your family's status, what could you possibly have to compare with us? What gives you the right to sit and eat with us? Have you no shame? And without a hint of embarrassment, he started bragging about his little treasure of a son. My son Thanvan just became the vice principal of a private aristocratic high school. Sure, he's still a step behind Xiao Yun from my eldest brother's family, but his future is bright. Even in Chu province, he's a known and respected talent. Huang Mai, a true member of the Li family, had a tongue just as venomous, even for a woman. Changshan, it's one thing for your Xiaofan to be spouting nonsense, but why are you playing along with him? I can't wait for the manager to get here and see how you two handle this mess. Yeah, right, the hotel boss. What an unbelievable lie. Turns out the person Than Van called was the hotel manager, Chen Liang. Greetings, Principal Li. Hello, Uncle and Auntie. Than Van pointed a finger at Xiaofan, his mouth curved into a teasing smirk. Manager Chen, let me introduce you. This gentleman here claims to be the boss of your hotel. I don't suppose you know anything about that? Hearing this, the manager stomped his foot and denied it instantly. Nonsense. The contempt in his eyes made everyone uncomfortable. How could I not know about this? Where did this imposter crawl out from? He actually dares to impersonate our hotel's owner? He must have the guts of a bear, bragging that he owns the hotel when it's clearly the property of the Zhao family. The young master is Zhao Qian Duo, Mr. Zhao himself. He was here just the other night having dinner with his classmates. With that, Than Van moved in for the kill. Li Xiaofan, the manager himself, has spoken, so what else do you have to say? Cheng Feng then chimed in with a proverb about being down on your luck. Li Xiaofan, it's fine if you're poor or don't have good prospects, but you absolutely cannot be a liar, understand? Haha, Huang Mai's words were like snake venom, every syllable sharp as a knife. Why make things so difficult? You must be so embarrassed now that you've been exposed, right? This isn't a place for poor people. Who told you to bring this humiliation upon yourselves? A simple tactic, but brutally effective. Chen Liang was simply smart enough to see which way the wind was blowing. He figured since everyone in the room had their knives out for this kid, he might as well get on Li Than Van's good side. He slammed his hand on the table, his face a mask of angry authority. Kid, who are you really? Why would you impersonate our boss? What's your goal? Xiaofan didn't interrupt, just quietly let the man finish his little tantrum. If you don't tell me the truth, I'll have security drag you out of here. He blustered on, all to get a single reaction from the kid. If you don't believe me, then call the general manager. That single sentence lit a fire under Chen Liang. All right, kid, you're getting pretty good at lying, aren't you? His face darkened as he threw accusations, trying to box Xiaofan in. You knew our vice president Jiang has an important contract to sign and can't be disturbed for 2 days, so you deliberately came here to cause trouble. Sitting beside him, Chung Shan saw the situation getting worse and called out, Xiaofan. Chen Liang's pathetic face suddenly puffed up with wannabe gangster bravado. If I don't teach you a proper lesson today, every stray cat and dog will think they can waltz into this hotel and pretend they're the owner. He roared an order to call security. Guards, guards, arrest this con artist for me. Than Van then pretended to be the righteous cousin. Oh, just let it go. This cousin of mine has been poor since he was a kid, always struggling in the lower class. It's not every day he gets to come out and play pretend. Manager Chen, for my sake, don't bother with him. Besides, we all know what kind of person he really is now. Chen Liang's attitude changed in a flash. He obeyed without a single question. You rotten kid, I'm letting you go this one time out of respect for Principal Li. But if you ever dare show your face in our hotel again, I'll beat you every single time I see you. For some reason, Xiaofan decided to leave his dad alone in the room. Dad, I'm going outside to make a phone call. I'll be back in a minute. 3 minutes after Xiaofan left and returned, Than Van was already holding out his wrist, showing off his new toy. Cousin, this is the Patek Philippe watch I bought on a business trip to the US last month. The second Tunok saw the designer brand, her eyes lit up. Wow, what a gorgeous watch. Hey cousin, how much did this watch cost? Getting the attention he craved, he puffed out his chest and answered with total confidence. Oh, not much. Just over 20 grand. Than Fong, sitting right next to him, made sure to pull up his own sleeve to flash his watch. Look here, everyone. My son also bought me a Rolex. Cost over 10 grand. Across the table, Than Lam was smiling, but inside he was fuming. If it weren't for our Van Tu's special status, being discreet with his finances, we wouldn't let this second-rate loser show off like this. Afraid people didn't know how rich he was, he pretended to raise his hand. Speaking of watches, I have to thank my Than Van. He got me this Rolex, too. I looked it up online, it's worth a whopping 70,000. Guess spoiling that kid paid off after all. Hong Mai, fearing she'd be left out, jumped in. Yes. This watch of mine was also a gift from Than Van. Worth tens of thousands. He waved his hand, acting all generous like it was no big deal. Honestly, you guys don't have to thank me. If you want to thank someone, thank my clueless principal. Hearing this, Than Lam was not pleased. Your clueless principal? What's that supposed to mean? It was the perfect setup, and he launched into a whole speech. Think about it. All my overseas business trips are paid for by the school. It'd be a waste not to spend it. Than's son and his son just sat there, looking completely fed up, not even bothering to chime in. Thon Van started his grand, show-offy story. One time, I went to an island nation for 3 days. I stayed in 3 different 7-star hotels. The travel, rooms, cars, designer watches, all paid for with funds for the new campus. I even skim a little from the annual tuition fees. It's not like they can trace it back to me, so what's there to be afraid of? Every word he spoke was designed to force everyone to acknowledge his status. Don't forget, my school is a private academy for the elite. All the students are rich kids swimming in money, plus the head principal is all the way over in Sochow. The cat's away, you know? And get this, he was actually proud of himself, reminiscing about his little embezzled vacation. The head honcho in Sochow can't reach me here, so every business trip, I make sure to spend a ton. I just expense it all when I get back. Thon Van just kept rambling, bragging on, clearly loving the sound of his own voice. That's why I said you should all thank my clueless principal. Without his generosity, none of you would have these watches. All the while, Tu Pham was quietly recording everything on his phone. He decided to set a little trap. Li Thon Van, what's the name of your school? The guy answered with a smug look. The Eastern Star Noble School. Ever heard of it? The main campus is in Sochow. Thinking the kid was looking for a job, he just shook his head. Li Tu Pham, you want to be a teacher at my school, don't you? Too bad we're fully staffed. Thon Fong clapped him on the shoulder, faking sympathy for Tu Pham. Thon Van, Tu Pham is your cousin after all. As the vice principal, it'd look bad if you didn't help him out a little. He caught on instantly. Dad, you're so right. In that case, one of our security guards just quit last week. How about it, Tu Pham? You can come be a security guard. At least it's close to home, right? He couldn't take this ridiculous family anymore and slammed his hand on the table. You don't need to worry about my career. But let me give you some advice. Don't take money that isn't yours. You do enough shady things, and karma will come for you. Getting lectured by him, Thon Van's face soured. Li Tu Pham, are you just jealous of me? Everyone else immediately ganged up on him. Sore loser. Yeah, cousin Thon Van is just that capable. Tu Nok chimed in with a sneer. Li Tu Pham, if you're so great, why don't you buy your dad a watch? He sat there laughing, his face a mask of pure mockery. But before he could finish, she suddenly froze, realizing something. Uh-oh, Tunok's eyes flickered, a look of hesitation on her face. The watch that third uncle was wearing. She was pretty sure she'd seen it on a global luxury jewelry website. It looked plain, but it sold for an absolutely astronomical price. Realizing she was digging a hole for herself, she shut down that train of thought before it was too late. Thon Van frowned at her weird reaction, but just tried to soothe her like usual. Tunagok, it's just a watch. What's the big deal? If you like it, I can buy you a whole truckload of them. Without a second's hesitation, she nodded. Cousin Than Van, a gentleman never goes back on his word. You can't take it back. He just had to get one more brag in. That piece of street trash? Forget a truckload. I could get you 10 truckloads. In his head, he was sneering. Only losers like Li Tu Pham and his dad would wear a cheap street watch like that. How embarrassing. After getting her promise, Tuno carefully leaned in and whispered something. Cousin Than Van, third uncle's watch. It looks exactly like one I know called an H-blood. I mean, it's identical. The list price for an H-blood is 700,000, and that's in US dollars. Converted to yuan, that's over 5 million. The words were soft, but to Thon Van, they were a tidal wave that washed away his sanity. What? He gave a little headshake, as if that could just brush off the inconvenient truth. No way, impossible. He shot out of his chair, forgetting all composure, his finger jabbing at the other guy like he could poke a hole in reality. Stop joking around. This watch is obviously a fake, a total knockoff. Watching him throw a fit, the Cheng father and son didn't even bother to step in, just silently observing like they had front row seats to a meltdown. Li Xiaofan, don't get ahead of yourself thinking you're some big shot now. Let me tell you, this little act just makes people look down on you even more. The anger was still smoldering in his eyes, but he couldn't get any more words out. It was like the rage itself was choking him. He'd rather die than believe some broke loser could wear a watch worth millions. Suddenly, the door swung open, and a deep, powerful voice cut through the tense atmosphere like a knife. If you gentlemen want to know if this watch is real or fake, Director Kong stepped forward confidently, saying politely, then allow me to appraise it. And Thon Van, proving that the apple doesn't fall far from the idiotic tree, opened his mouth and spewed pure nonsense. Who are you? Can't you see we're eating? How dare you just walk in here? I'm gonna sue Director Tran for this. But the man just sniffed dismissively at those words and walked right over to greet Thon's son respectfully. Old master, would you mind if I borrowed your watch for a moment? To add a little credibility, he gently pulled out his business card, presenting it with 2 hands to show he was serious. Here is my card, Director Kang of the 10th Board of the Van Chow Watchmaking Association. With a look of intense focus, the man held the watch up to his eye. His gaze was sharp as a razor, every detail of the timepiece reflecting in his brightly lit pupils. In those eyes, a whole universe of fascination was lighting up. Old Master, I guarantee this on the name of the Van Chow Watchmaking Association. With a beaming face, he officially announced his findings. This watch of yours is a genuine Swiss timepiece, and what's more, it's the prestigious and priceless H-Blood brand, ranked #1 in the world. The director seemed to recall the details of that year's auction. In fact, I remember this specific watch. I believe the CEO of the Aoduang Group spent over 5 million to acquire it. The moment Xiaofan heard that name, he remembered her anxiously handing him the watch. Xiaofan, do you think he'll like the gift I got for him? Only in this moment did he finally realize the true value of the watch. He never imagined Aoduang Boy Ni would give his father such a precious gift. She was truly thoughtful. Than Van was so stunned he felt like his soul was about to leave his body. Oh my God, Li Xiaofan's dad's watch was really worth over 5 million. His eyes fixed on his own wrist. Then, ever so slowly, he pulled his sleeve down. Not to keep warm, but to hide from the crushing shame. Comparing his own $20,000 watch to that, wasn't he just asking for humiliation? Hong Mai also retracted her sharp, cat-like hands, her heart pounding for trying to show off to someone so far above her league. Across the table, Than Lam and Than Fong quietly deflated, like two tigers that had just been defanged, their minds filled with utter frustration. Old Third was clearly wearing a $5 million watch but pretended to be a country bumpkin. They'd seen plenty of posers, but never one like him. After so many years of living quietly, perhaps only today did Than Sun truly feel as solid and unshakable as a mountain. It felt good. So Big Brother and Second Brother could also eat crow sometimes. He'd have to thank that Aoduang Boy Ni kid properly another day. Everyone was frozen, speechless in a scene so awkward and embarrassing they didn't know where to look. Tran Luong burst into the room like his feet were on fire, breathing heavily with a panicked look in his eyes. Director Li, I just heard you called for me again. What's going on here? The second he saw who was in the room, all the blood drained from his face, turning pale as a ghost. Deputy Chief Kang, what are you doing here? His face twisted when he saw the man he feared now standing respectfully by Xiaofan's side, speaking deferentially. President Li, I'm so sorry to have kept you waiting. I rushed over as soon as I got your call. Appraising the watch was just a personal hobby. With a serious expression, he gently reported the whole situation, choosing every word carefully to avoid any misunderstanding. Right now, only I know about the hotel's change in legal representation. The other senior executives haven't been informed yet. So there was no way a lowly manager like him would have been qualified to know about this. He whipped around, his voice turning harsh as he scolded Tran Luong for his unforgivable negligence. Director Tran, President Li has just taken office and a front desk manager like you dares to cause trouble? You've got some nerve. Ignoring all the stares, Than Van rushed forward to confront him directly. Director Tran, what in the world is going on here? Already steaming from the shock, Tran Luong's eyes bugged out as he screamed, Shut your mouth! This is all your fault, and you have the nerve to ask me? Just seconds ago, this guy was talking trash. Now, seeing Xiao Fan, his head's down like a puppy who just got its tail stepped on. President Li, I am so sorry. I had no idea it was you. But our guy wouldn't even give him the time of day. Don't call me that. I came here looking for a fight. Weren't you the one calling security to drag me out? That question made Tran Luong choke on his words. And boom, there it was. A slap so loud it made his eyes water. He had no clue what just happened, only that his cheek was burning. The slap was so powerful he completely lost his balance, his whole body just tumbling backward. Oh, the look of pure disgust in his eyes. Li Shi launched a kick to vent all his frustration. Get up, you useless thing. Tran Luong, completely terrified, just stammered, Yes, yes, yes. He grabbed the table, trembling as he stood, his voice thin as a thread. President Li, please give me one more chance. He was probably hoping for a little mercy. Instead, Xiaofan grabbed him by the collar and yanked him forward like a common criminal. He coldly swung his hand, a slap that didn't just hurt, it stripped away every last scrap of dignity. You look down on people with those dog eyes of yours. An indifferent gaze swept across the relatives, who were all frozen like statues with their heads bowed, barely daring to breathe. I'll give you a reason to look down on people. His voice was ice, emphasizing every word. I'll give you a reason to be a bully. By this point, his face was so swollen and distorted he looked like he was storing dumplings in his cheeks. But Xiao Fan showed no signs of stopping. Open your eyes and take a good look at who I am. Than Van stood frozen, staring at the horrifying scene, but in her head, she was silently cursing him out. That jerk, Li Xiaofan, is definitely taking a shot at me. Only when he felt his anger cool did Xiao Fan slowly pull out a tissue. wiping his hand like he was brushing off dirt. Then, his voice cut through the room, cold and authoritative. Go to finance, collect your final paycheck, and get out. Hearing this, Tran Luang begged miserably. President Li, I beg you, please have mercy. I really need this job. He tossed his dignity aside, dropping to his knees and banging his head on the floor, his pleading voice trembling on the verge of tears. I have elders and children to support, and rent to pay every month. Without an income, my whole family will starve. Not a single flicker of emotion crossed our hero's face, probably because that sob story was just so incredibly fake. If you valued this job, you wouldn't have become Li Xiaofan's little lapdog. Tran Luang's cries just echoed through the room. Mixed in with the wailing was Xiaofan's calm voice. When you run a hotel, you're supposed to welcome guests with a smile. A small-minded person like you who looks down on others has no business working in a hotel. Now get lost. He turned, his gaze indifferent but carrying a deadly weight, aimed straight at Thon Van like an execution order. Of course, if you really can't find a job, you can always go to Li Thon Van. Isn't his school looking for a security guard? The razor-sharp words left Thon Van speechless, but Xiaofan couldn't have cared less. He casually gave his orders. As for this crowd, throw them all out. My hotel doesn't welcome any of them. Li Yu obediently complied. Yes, President Li. A decisive wave of his hand was like a supreme command. Security immediately swarmed in, the tension suddenly unbearable. The security guards lined up neatly, their stern glares like blades, plunging the room into a suffocating, fearful silence. Ladies and gentlemen, you all heard our President Li. So, if you would please, don't force us to get physical. Thonfong was stunned. What? The power play had been made. The rest of the group, seething with resentment, had no choice but to grit their teeth and leave. As one passed Xiaofan, he hissed like a wounded animal. Enjoying the show? Li Xiaofan, don't get so smug, we'll just wait and see. Hong Mai stubbornly refused to leave, quickly grabbing Xiaofan's hand as if clinging to her last hope. Xiaofan, dear, you remember how much your auntie has always loved you, right? He spat out every word, not afraid to reopen a deeply buried wound. If you loved me so much, why wasn't there any money for my school tuition? My father went to your house to borrow money, and not only did you refuse to give him a cent, you coldly provoked him. Like a man demanding justice, he kept exposing her hypocrisy. You threw my father out and hurt him. She bit her lip hard, swallowing the shame. Xiaofan, dear, you've misunderstood. How about you bring your father to my house tomorrow? I'll cook some delicious food. You and your uncle can talk it over. In a family, what misunderstanding can't be solved? All that pathetic, fake pleading earned was one cold reply, get out. The moment they saw Xiaofan was still cold and completely unmoved, that couple's attitude flipped in a heartbeat, the fake kindness vanishing without a trace. Hey, I'm talking to you, Li Xiaofan. How dare you speak to me like that? Good or bad, I'm still his aunt. Don't you people have any respect at all? That's right, what kind of attitude is that? These guys are just shameless. It makes you sick just looking at them. I said get lost. Finally, security had to step in, forcing the issue. You two, please leave. Then, from inside a car, came Cheng Feng's paranoid voice. Big brother, something about this ain't right. Li Xiaofan and his dad are broke. How could they possibly afford a $5 million watch? And how did he suddenly become the owner of a 3-star hotel? Cheng Lin nodded, agreeing it seemed pretty plausible. Second brother has a point. This is definitely shady. It all happened so fast, that kid rattled me. But thinking back now, this whole thing is full of holes. With his brain swimming in a fog, Chung Yun drove, torturing himself with a whole bunch of terrible theories. You think the kid hit the jackpot? Or robbed a bank? Or maybe he's moving drugs? His nonstop rambling finally got on Cheng Feng's nerves, who slammed his fist on the seat with a loud thud. In my opinion, we shouldn't even worry about that brat and just stick to the plan. A sinister look crossed his face as he began to reveal his brilliant strategy. I heard that Li Xiaofan beat up our nephew, Shanji. So, let's just send Shanji to his house to settle the score. Besides, isn't Li Xiaofan loaded now? This is perfect. We can make him hand over all his cash. Without even thinking, Cheng Yun snapped his fingers, totally on board. Dad, let's hit him from all sides. I'll get my friends in Chuzhou to dig up some info on Li Xiaofan. A flash of memory hit Cheng Feng, who immediately sat up straight to report in. Oh, right, big brother. I got news a few days ago that the big boss from Manhwa Alley in Chuzhou came right here to Yunzhou. This is a huge deal. He's basically our family's personal ATM. Not everyone could see it, but for a guy with a brain, this was a golden opportunity. Most of our Li family's assets are tied up in cooperative projects with Wanhua Alley. This time, I bet the entire family fortune on it. So, we absolutely have to find out where this VIP is and build a relationship. The more he spit out these words of wisdom, the more giddy the other two morons became. Once this project gets going smoothly, we can easily make a few billion a year. Then we'll see how Li Xiaofan dares to act so smug around us. Heck, I could crush him to death with just my money. Cheng Yun spoke up, his voice so full of confidence you'd think he was betting his life. Dad, don't worry, I'm already working on making connections. Li Xiaofan is just some punk who got rich quick. He can't make any big waves. Just when he thought he was at a disadvantage, it hit Cheng Lin that Xiao Yun had been tied up with official business these past 2 days. If Xiao Yun had been here, Li Xiaofan never would have dared to act so cocky. It was only then, after listening and thinking it over, that he slowly started talking, revealing the whole scheme he'd been quietly cooking up. When Xiao Yun gets back tomorrow, I'll have him check if that Li Xiaofan punk has a record, or if he's a fugitive on the run. Then, with an incredibly smug look, he leaned back in his seat like a king. If Li Xiaofan has anything suspicious on his record, I'll just have Xiao Yun arrest him directly. Then we won't have to waste our time like this. Hearing that, Cheng Yun got even more arrogant. Oh, that would be fantastic. In a quaint old house somewhere, Cheng Shan's laughter rang out. He was having a pleasant chat with his son. Xiaofan, today at the hotel. Man, we really showed them. I have never ever seen Li Chunglin and Li Chungfeng look so utterly humiliated. Finally, after burying it for so many years, he let out a huge sigh of relief, the weight that had crushed his heart for a lifetime finally lifting. All that anger I've held inside for so long, today I finally got to let it all out. The kid just sat there quietly, his eyes glued to his dad. Xiaofan, you're a grown man now. As your father, there are some secrets I just can't ask about. In that moment, he wasn't some larger-than-life hero, just a kid, respectfully listening to his old man. Even though we won today, your uncles and your aunts have been running businesses in Yunzhou for more than 10 years, you know. Once they all team up, their web of connections is a real mess. It's just the two of us, weak and alone. How are we supposed to fight them? We don't have their kind of money, and we sure don't have their kind of background. And hilariously, in this touching moment, Xiaofan couldn't help but sprinkle in a little of his own self-produced hype. Speaking of background and money, who could possibly compare to me, the great profound supreme being? I am the ultimate safety net. Countless powerful forces in the universe kneel before me, begging for my protection. He chose every word carefully, pouring his whole heart into making a rock-solid promise. Dad, don't you worry. With me here, nobody can bully you. They stole our property, and sooner or later, I'm gonna make them puke it all back up. Seeing his son so determined, the old man's eyes shined with absolute pride. Xiaofan, I believe in your abilities. Looking at his grown son, the old man got nostalgic. Sigh, the years really make a person old. When you were little, I was the one who sheltered you from the wind and rain. Thon's son shook his head slightly, a fond smile on his lips. Now you're all grown up, and I'm old and not so useful anymore. He didn't need flowery words. A few humble ones were enough to show his love for his father. Dad, in my heart you will never grow old. I'll carry this family now. You just enjoy your life, Dad. Xiaofan let his mind wander, unconsciously picturing the future when his own cultivation reached the Xiantian realm, breaking through space-time and ascending to the immortal realm. He would definitely bring his father with him. He slowly took out a notebook he'd prepared long ago. Father, I'll teach you a mental cultivation mantra. When you have nothing to do, you can practice it. It can help you live longer and keep your body healthy. Xiaofan sat quietly, his eyes shining with warm anticipation, happily watching Thonsan's every slow movement. This basic mental technique from the Taishuan sect was also to prepare his father for a future ascension, to master the fundamentals. His father was old, and while he had many powerful techniques, none of them were suitable for an elderly person to practice. He gently supported his father, every move careful, as if he was afraid of hurting him. All right, you have to absorb the energy just like this. The time this father and son spent cultivating together became a rare, peaceful moment. In his past life in the immortal realm, he might have ruled over billions of galaxies, with masters as common as clouds and warriors as plentiful as rain. But that place was just cold-blooded murder and endless plundering. He never had a chance to enjoy simple family happiness like this. He slowly guided his revered father through his first moments of cultivation. A crash from outside the door echoed through the house. Crash! A chubby guy named Shanji led a gang of armed thugs right inside. Xiaofan heard the noise from inside and rushed out to see what was going on. The group just paraded into the courtyard without anyone's permission. He angrily threw the door open, staring them down with murder in his eyes. Who are you? Who gave you permission to just barge in here? Thonson cried out in surprise. Inside his head, Shanji was cursing, just another swarm of ants, not even worth looking at. His father stood behind him and whispered, Xiaofan, you have to be careful. The leader's name is Shanji. He's a vicious thug and a loan shark who has done countless despicable things, pushing tons of people to their breaking point, even getting some killed. He looked nervously at the current situation. The people of Yuzhou call him Joe Boppy behind his back, a total exploiter. Thon Sun turned to plead desperately with Shanji. Lu Shanji, our family has no feud with you. Why bring so many people to our home? He never guessed the guy was here to get justice for his nephew. Old man, I'll come whenever I want. Your son beat up my nephew Lu Ba and put him in the hospital. Today I'm here to collect some money for his medical bills. He didn't bother with a hospital bill, he just named his price. I won't make things hard on you. The hospital and medicine bills total 3 million. Hearing that huge number, Fan Sun was stunned. What? 3 million? You're just extorting us, he said in a complete panic. Xiaofan, did you really put Shanji's nephew in the hospital? His son's calm, steady voice cut through the air, ending all doubt. I was actually holding back. The second he confirmed it, the whole crowd erupted like a disturbed hornet's nest. The shouting was absolutely ear-splitting. Old man, your son already confessed. What else is there to deny? I'm telling you people, if we don't get our 3 million today, my brothers and I aren't going anywhere. Yeah, we're not leaving. Pay up, then we go. Thon's son thrashed around helplessly, like a fish yanked out of the water. Unbelievable. This was just completely unbelievable. Do you people even know what morals are? Where am I supposed to get 3 million to give you? His panic screams just kept on coming. You dared touch Sun Qi's nephew? You've got a death wish. Every word out of Sun Qi's mouth was prickly and moved sideways just like a crab. That's your problem. I really don't need to know the details. Look, you're coming up with 3 million today, or else. He licked his lips, starting the threats. I think you've probably heard about my methods for collecting debts. Right when the tension was about to snap, a familiar voice sliced through the suffocating air from behind, sharp as a blade. Sun Ke, the infamous trio of the Li family is here. What's this about you using your influence to bully people? Just a few minutes earlier, Thon Van had hopped in the car, his voice practically buzzing. Dad, I put in a little work and finally dug up the real dirt on Li Xiaofan. You want to guess what I found out? He was practically giddy, dying to share the info he'd just gotten. Turns out, in Sochao, Li Xiaofan was just some rich socialite's kept man, her little boy toy. Otherwise, where would he get that kind of cash? How else could he buy a watch for over 5 million? Even that 3-star hotel is just one of the properties that Sugar Mama owns. The smug, condescending voice just kept echoing inside the car. And Li Xiaofan, let's be real, is just a teaching intern making a few thousand in salary, and so the ridiculous rumor mill officially started churning. But Xiaofan is totally broke now. He got kicked to the curb by his sugar mama. Yeah, seems like the investigator wasn't exactly a reliable source. And not only that, a while back, Li Xiaofan and his dad went to propose and got thrown out by the girl's mother. He's the laughingstock of the whole school. The two Lai brothers were just eating this information up. Is this for real? They had no clue how utterly bogus this story was. Besides that, Li Xiaofan's teaching skills at the school are famously terrible. Just pathetic. He basically fails every single professor evaluation he takes. He's even been booed off the stage by his own students. Even the security guard at the gate looks down on him. He leaned back in his chair, feeling smug. The school finally just made Li Xiaofan a gatekeeper. If he messes up again, he'll be fired directly. There was no turning back from this downward spiral. Plus, I heard Li Xiaofan pissed off a lot of rich kids in Sochao and couldn't make it, so he came crawling back to Vanchao completely disgraced. Father, everyone, you can absolutely rest assured. I got this news from the vice principal of the prestigious Dongfuang Chi Tin School in Sochao. It's absolutely trustworthy. He even added another layer of confirmation. Vice Principal Q emphasized it over the phone. This vice principal had told Thon Van, in the most insulting tone imaginable, don't be fooled by Li Xiaofan's triumphant act. In reality, his pockets are cleaner than his face. If not, why wouldn't he stay in glamorous? So Chao instead of running back to Vanchao. Turns out it was Q Fi, Xiaofan's good friend, helping him pull this whole con. Besides, that 3-star hotel was in Vanchao to begin with. Vice President Kwong still doesn't know Li Xiaofan got dumped, so that's why you all got played by him. The second he hung up the phone, he was already worried about his friend. Man, all this fake news Xiaofan had me leaked to Lai Than Van. It's really putting him out. The guy just came home to visit family and now he's got all this drama. Back in the present, at Thon Sun's house, Xiaofan was smirking as he watched them all fall stupidly into the trap he'd created. Lai Than Van, what are you all doing here? The guy smoothly became the group's spokesperson again. Lai Xiaofan, I finally know your whole backstory now. At first, I thought you were some kind of big shot, but now I see you were just a notorious screw-up in Sochao that everyone laughed at. He continued, acting like he knew everything about Xiaofan. You couldn't survive in Sochao, so you came crawling back to Vanchao in disgrace. You tried to be a boy toy but got dumped, then you showed up to propose and got thrown out. Than Van kept spouting this unverified garbage with total confidence. The most embarrassing part is you were chased off the podium by your own students. What right do you have to call yourself a professor? Feeling on a roll, he continued his lecture. I heard the school demoted you to a security guard at the gate. You have a bachelor's degree, and you're working as someone's guard dog. How pathetic. You're a disgrace to the whole Li family. Then Thanvan remembered the hotel incident, and the anger was still bubbling. Thinking about what happened at the hotel this afternoon, I'm barely keeping my temper in check. I'm the vice principal of Dongfuang Chi Tin's Van Chao campus, and I got played by a nobody like you. He was screaming so intensely that spit was flying everywhere. You dare to pose as the owner of a 3-star hotel? You should take a good look at yourself in the mirror. Tu Pham just stood there, watching this clown put on a show. And he still dares to strut in front of me and act all high and mighty, he thought with utter contempt. I deliberately had Q-Fi leak all this fake news. It was the perfect excuse to let my father see my uncle and his son's true colors. Once the guy finished his little speech, our hero decided it was time to show him the door. Are you done? Good. Now get lost, Cheng Lin spat, his voice dripping with contempt. Oh, the nerve! The absolute betrayal! Did Li Xiaofan seriously think he was the one in charge of this hotel? Vice President Jiang isn't here to back you up, buddy. Chung Feng pointed at Xiaofan and ordered the guy next to him. Shanji, since this little punk doesn't know his place, why don't you teach him a lesson? Show him what reality looks like. Without hesitation, he led the charge, waving a massive butcher knife in the air and yelling at the top of his lungs. All right, brothers, let's get him. Xiaofan's eyes widened, staring daggers right back at the guy named Shanji. Just as the thug was about to swing, Xiaofan uttered a single, ice-cold word. Scram! In an instant, a furious gale erupted, blowing the entire gang away. They all screamed in agony as they hit the ground. The 3 goons named Li who were standing outside got sent flying too. What a wind! The power was just insane. The storm practically destroyed everything in its path, as he coolly watched them get tossed into the street. By the time they staggered back to their feet, their target had vanished into thin air. That little display had scared the living daylights out of all 3 of them. Cheng Lin spoke up, his face a mask of scheming terror. A demon. He's a total demon. How in the world did that brat Li Xiaofan suddenly get so powerful? He turned to the others and continued. I didn't even see what happened before I was thrown outside. We can't fight brute force with brute force. We need another plan. Chung Feng quickly chimed in, not even trying to hide the worry on his face. You know Li Xiaofan just now? He reminded me of those folk magic users the old-timers in my neighborhood used to talk about. Could it be that Li Xiaofan really learned some cheap magic trick? Is that how he managed to cozy up to that rich lady in Chuzhou? Shanji turned around, puffing out his chest with confidence. What's there to be scared of? If that kid really knows some dark arts, then it just so happens my uncle is a famous Taoist priest. He went on, in the streets, they call him Master Liu. His skills are legendary. He's an expert at exorcising demons, a big name in Chuzhou. No sooner were the words out of his mouth than he was already pulling out his phone. Only problem is, he ticked someone off in Chuzhou a while back and had to lay low in Yunzhou. I'll give him a call. The boss's face lit up. Excellent. Do as Shanji says. Tonight, no matter the cost, we have to get Master Liu here to hunt down that demonic freak, Li Xiaofan. Cheng Yun heard this and steeled his resolve, his face twisted with rage. Yeah, let's completely crush Li Xiaofan's entire family so they can never get back on their feet again. As night fell, the crowded streets bustled with people. Cheng Lin, Cheng Yun, and Master Liu's entourage had finally arrived. He pointed a hand forward and announced, Master, this is the place. The master turned back and said sternly, Shanji, I'm only coming out of hiding because you and your father were bullied. From now on, don't you dare mention to anyone that I offended someone in Chuzhou and had to flee to Yunzhou. Got it? He stroked his beard, a smug look spreading across his face. Back then I was just careless and got hit by one of that bastard spells, that's why I lost. But I've been training hard these days in Yunzhou, and my power is complete. If I ever see him again, I'll make sure he can't walk or eat. Shanji asked excitedly, Uncle Liu, so tonight, can we witness some of your heaven-defying skills? This guy knows a few demonic tricks that are pretty tough. Even I wasn't a match for him. We had to call in an elder like you to handle it. The master squinted, scanning the area with his hands behind his back. He pointed towards the house, now shrouded in a mysterious fog, and declared, Such heavy demonic energy. As expected, a family of demons. Everyone else rubbed their eyes. One of them asked, confused, Cheng Yun, what demonic energy? Why can't I see anything? Am I just getting old and seeing things? Cheng Lin chimed in, I don't see anything either. But the other guy replied knowingly, Uncles, if Master Liu says there's demonic energy, then there's demonic energy. I knew there was something wrong with Li Xiaofan. Master Liu saw right through their true faces with just one look. With that, he presented a bank card, offering it respectfully, which made the master's eyes light up. Master Liu, You must capture this demon thief and completely eradicate him for our Li family. Cheng Feng added, That's right, Master Lu. Tonight, while they're all asleep, hurry up and wipe them out, root and stem, so they don't cause trouble later. The master put on a saintly face, but his hand had already snatched the bank card. As a man of righteousness, of course I won't just stand by and watch. He then took out a bottle covered in talismans and said confidently, Tonight, this old Taoist will fight fire with fire and destroy this entire family of demon thieves. Without a moment's hesitation, he popped the cork. Suddenly, a stream of gas poured from the jar, slowly forming into the shape of a scorpion. He announced, This ghost scorpion king is a treasure I captured from the vast mountains. It's born with a taste for both humans and ghosts. Cheng Lin, standing nearby, was terrified. Yikes. But the rest of the crew smiled with satisfaction as the master continued, I raised it on 100 different poisons and demonic energy. I was technically saving this little trick for some punk over in Sochow, but hey, tonight you all get a free show. And with that, the scorpion coughed up a stream of glowing green liquid that looked a lot like acid. The goo hit the wall, and in seconds, it sizzled a hole big enough for the giant bug to crawl through. So much for the security deposit. Antoine stroked his beard, looking incredibly pleased with himself. This poisonous pet of mine only listens to me. It doesn't matter if that kid knows magic or not, he's no match for my big-headed ghost scorpion king. When the great Master Lu makes a move, how can one little demon possibly escape? His 3 followers behind him looked appropriately amazed. All right then, we'll wait for Master Lu's good news tomorrow, one of them said. By morning, you can come collect the body. He confidently squeezed through the hole after his scorpion. Once inside, he gave his next calm command. You hear that, my little treasure? Tonight you get a special treat. This whole family is your midnight snack. The scorpion practically drooled at his words. And remember, the man added, clean your plate. Unable to wait, it started spitting its goo on the floor, then the walls, until the entire house was coated in its deadly saliva. From the back, Antoine yelled another order, Goo insects, go! His apprentice opened a special jar, and a cloud of dark energy hissed out, followed by countless bees nearly the size of a human head. The ghost scorpion king immediately scurried upstairs, stopping right in front of a bedroom door. Suddenly, a hand shot out and grabbed its tail. A woman named Lian Yu asked, My, what a big scorpion. Are you responsible for all this property damage? She and another person then dropped down to the ground floor, where the group was still making a scene. Antoine spun around, his face furious. Who is it? The other man, Fong, rushed forward, grabbed his shirt, and yelled right in his face. Old man, I was about to ask you the same thing. Who gave you the right to trash Mr. Li's villa in the middle of the night? Are you looking to die? Antoine blustered. I'm warning you, you little punk. Don't you dare touch me. For all his big talk, he was starting to sweat, but he stuck to making threats. I am the great Master Lu. In this entire region, only Master Chen from Thungmong Mountain can even compare to me. You've heard of him, right? I bet his name alone would scare you to death. Fong had heard enough and just slapped him right across the head. You idiot, he growled. Master Chen is my teacher. How dare you use his name to run your pathetic scams? He glared at the man. Even my master is no match for Mr. Li, so who the hell are you supposed to be? Meanwhile, the scorpion, still being held by its tail, was having a full-blown identity crisis, struggling and thinking to itself. I, the great ghost scorpion king, have seen it all. How can I be humiliated like this, held by the tail by some girl? Absolutely furious, it spit a glob of saliva right at Lian Yu. To its credit, a little bit actually splashed her in the face. She just wiped it off. You've got a lot of nerve for a bug. Fed up, Lian Yu lunged forward and started beating the ghost scorpion king senseless. The poor thing could only lie there and take it, before trembling and waving a metaphorical white flag. Her face was pure murder as she leaned down to threaten it some more. You've even cultivated ghost energy in that old body of yours. For an old woman like me, that's a rare delicacy. She turned to Fong and said calmly, Little Feng, that old man and his big yellow bees are all yours. He replied instantly, Easy peasy. The second he spoke, she was back to menacing the scorpion. As for you, sweetie, would you like to be roasted, stewed, or fried till you're crispy? You look absolutely delicious. All the scorpion could do was curl up and tremble in fear. The next day, a car was already waiting outside Xiaofan's house. 3 men got out, looking thrilled. Than Vaughn said confidently, Dad, a whole night has passed. Li Xiaofan is definitely done for. Otherwise, why would it be completely silent? He turned to the others, looking for agreement. Shanji, don't you think it's rude? Master Lu finishes the job and doesn't even call. Making us wait this long has me on edge. Cheng Lin Hai nodded thoughtfully. Thon Vaughn is right. Today isn't just for ancestor worship, it's also the day we choose the next family head. Getting this business with the third brother out of the way early will make it easier to go back to the old house and prepare. Cheng Feng jumped in with a smile. Big brother, you're so impatient. After all, the uncle's already arranged for you to be the next patriarch. This whole process is just a formality. Everyone knows you're the next head of the Li family, right? But Thon Von cut through the happy chatter. Dad, are you guys done? I can't wait to go in there and see what Li Xiaofan looks like dead, he said cheerfully. I spent all last night hiring a professional team of foreign undertakers, specifically to collect the bodies of Li Xiaofan's family. Shanji couldn't help but applaud. Wow, you guys really are a bunch of pros. Oh, brother Thon Von, you're just too kind, hiring foreigners to collect the body. He then put on a show of grief, wiping away imaginary tears. Of course I'm kind. After all, Li Xiaofan is my cousin, and as his older cousin, I can't just let him go off all alone. A second later, his face split into a massive grin as he waved his hands. All right, boys, let's get dancing and singing. Add some music to get the party started. And just like that, the coffin bearers started dancing their way into the house. The group even reminded everyone, remember, no sad faces. We need a lively, celebratory mood. Ha ha ha. Without a moment's hesitation, Thon Van kicked the door wide open. Li Xiaofan, we're here to collect your body. But the scene inside was not quite what he'd pictured. Lian Yu was happily grilling the Demon King Scorpion, while Quan disciples knelt obediently at Xiaofan's feet. The boy calmly took a sip of water and spoke. I'm not dead yet. Are you all terribly disappointed? Thon Van. What's with the long faces? Cat got your tongue? His gaze, sharp as a knife, swept over the group. I heard every single word you said at the door. They looked like they couldn't believe their eyes. Thon Van pointed a trembling finger. Li Xiaofan, you're still alive? He then turned on Quan, who was still bowing with his face to the floor. Master Liu, what in the world are you doing? Only then did Quan dare to lift his head, looking as wronged as a little kid. You little brat, I'd already run all the way to Yunzhou. It's your fault I offended Mr. Li a second time, and now even my precious scorpion has been eaten. Next to him, Lian Yu was peeling back the scorpion's shell, revealing the juicy white meat inside. She chewed happily and gave a thumbs up. Hey, old man, your precious scorpion is delicious. Hearing that, the guy's heart probably shattered into a million pieces. After finishing, she chirped, so full. Eating that scorpion restored all the ghost energy I used up. Xiaofan, sitting on the sofa, got down to business. Master Liu, it seems you weren't lying. Someone really did order you to cause trouble last night. He then turned to Cheng Shan beside him. Father, do you finally see these people's true colors? Than Van sputtered. Master Liu, how dare you sell us out? Cheng Feng couldn't hold back either, pointing his finger accusingly. Well, the con artist named Liu. We paid you so much and you couldn't even handle one simple little thing. Suddenly, Cheng Shan held up a hand. That's enough. Stop talking. Big brother, second brother, I can't believe you do something so heartless. His opponent stood with hands on his hips, ready to argue. Third brother, so what if your whole family knows? Are you really going to make a move against me? Cheng Feng clapped him on the shoulder, booming. Third brother, I might as well tell you. Today's ancestor worship is actually to choose the next head of the Li family, and the only successor is our big brother. He continued his threats. Opposing him means you're opposing the future head of the Li family. Do you believe he could erase you and your son from the family registry right now? Shanji, seeing his chance, decided to add fuel to the fire. Old man, we let you off last night to give you a chance. Since you don't know what's good for you, don't forget you still owe 3 million in hospital fees. If you don't hand it over now, my brothers and I will tear your house down. Thon Van chimed in. That's right, Li Xiaofan. The consequences for defying us are serious. I suggest you think about whether you can handle it. The moment he finished speaking, Xiaofan waved his hand, creating a force like a slap from the heavens that sent the two toads flying. Cheng Feng caught his son, roaring with anger. Li Xiaofan, you dare hit my son? He turned to Cheng Lin. Big brother, I'm going back to tell the old clan leader to remove these two ungrateful disciples from the Li family. Xiaofan stood up, his expression serious. You want to expel me? Fine. Today, I'll settle all of the Li family's affairs. He turned to his father to announce, Father, we're going to the old Li family residence later. Cheng Shan immediately nodded in agreement. Si Kong, who had somehow appeared blocking the door, suddenly spoke, giving the group a good scare. Mr. Li, how do you plan to deal with these people? And Quan glanced over, his face etched with pure panic. Even Master Chen Si Kong of Kangmang Mountain submits to Li Xiaofan, and here he was, still trying to oppose the guy. He squeezed his eyes shut, accepting defeat. 100 years of his training couldn't compare to this kid. He then grabbed Xiaofan's leg, starting the waterworks. Mr. Li, no, Grandpa, look, I've already admitted my mistake. Can you forgive me this once, considering I didn't know who you were? If I knew it was you, I wouldn't have dared to mess with you, not even if I had 100 guts. The kid gave him a swift kick in reply and said calmly, Forgive you? Weren't you the one who wanted to release a scorpion to eat me? And Quan went flying and could only yelp, Ouch! Xiaofan's face went dark, and he just had to ask, Master Lu, long time no see. How's that crippling fear of ghosts treating ya? Hearing this, the man practically jumped out of his skin, his face a mask of pure panic. He glanced at Sikong and continued, Chen Sikong, this clown is using your name to scam people, so he's all yours. The old man simply nodded, summoning a spirit head with blazing, murderous eyes. Mr. Li, when you're dealing with a con artist who's also deathly afraid of ghosts, I have the perfect method. The old man snorted. This little head spirit of mine snacks on their soul fragments. Within half an hour, all they'll see are demons instead of people. The spirit head shot towards the group, and they screamed in terror. Ghosts! Ghosts! Outside, the coffin bearers scrambled in a panic, dropping everything to flee through the door. It's terrifying, they've all gone nuts, they shrieked as they blew past Tai Qian's group. Run for your lives! The old man watched the chaos unfold without a word, just staring thoughtfully after them. A panicked crowd burst out from inside, their faces drained of all color. Qing Yun even wet his pants screaming about ghosts. As Tai Qian's group arrived, they immediately pinched their noses and grimaced. A clansman grumbled, It stinks, this is disgusting. Seeing the absolute chaos, the old man finally got angry. Cheng Lin, Cheng Feng, what are you doing? The guys from the Li family had been hit by Sikong's magic, and every single one of them was pale as a sheet. They looked at the people outside, only to see everyone's face had morphed into a whispering, threatening demon. Li Chenglin and Li Chengfang just clutched their heads, screaming in terror. Demons. They were seeing demons. Suddenly, a vicious slap cracked across Qing Yun's face, followed by another that snapped Chengfang's head completely to the side. Tai Jian strode forward, landed a painful slap on Chenglin, and started yelling about what a public embarrassment he was. He couldn't even deal with a pipsqueak like Li Chengshan. Drag him away and shut him up. Seeing his dad in such a state, Xiao Wen rushed over, worried. Dad, how did you all end up like this? It has to be that despicable Li Xiaofan's fault. He then tried to stir things up with Tai Jian. Old clan leader, you must deliver justice for our family, and for Qing Yun's family. Just then, Xiaofan and his father slowly walked out. Father, we're going to the old residence to take back everything our uncles stole from you. Let's see who dares stop us today. The second the old man saw them, he slammed his cane down and bellowed. Such big talk. You dare to ask who would stop you. Then he jabbed a finger right at them. Li Chengshan, you've really raised a wonderful son. This startled the man, who stammered out, Oh, old clan leader, why are you here? Tai Jian immediately puffed up his chest to lecture him. Li Chengshan, today is the important day the Li family chooses its next leader, and you and your son have absolutely no right to be at the ancestral home because we've already wiped your names from the family registry. Xiaofan's gaze on the old man hardened with anger. He knew if the clan leader hadn't always looked down on his father and made life difficult, his uncles and aunt never would have dared to treat him so badly. He absolutely despised these people who had the nerve to call themselves family, and this was all because the clan leader had their backs. Fearless, Xiaofan crossed his arms and challenged, And what right do you have to stop me? Do you really think you speak for all our ancestors? Furious, Tai Jian repeatedly slammed his cane down. You arrogant brat. How dare you speak to me so disrespectfully? Then, of course, he started digging up the past. Years ago, it was your father who refused to listen to me, stubbornly insisting on being with that vixen, only to produce a rebellious son like you. He then pointed right in Xiaofan's face to continue his lecture. Disgracing the Li family name, this is all a consequence of your family's own actions. Tai Jian was just a bully who couldn't be reasoned with. If you want to blame someone, blame your father. This is all his fault, all because he insisted on being with that witch, causing our family to offend a great clan from the capital. Cheng Shan couldn't listen anymore, roaring at the old man to shut up. Insulting his son was bad enough, but insulting his wife had crossed the line. Clan leader, why are you bringing that up again? You can look down on me, that's fine, but you will not humiliate Xiaofan's mother. The old man was stunned, clearly not expecting Cheng Shan to ever fight back. You keep calling her a vixen. But did Xiaofan's mother ever do anything to offend you? He angrily let out years of frustration. Years ago, you forced an arranged marriage on me for the family's benefit. All I did was follow my own heart. What is so wrong with that? Because of this, for over 10 years you have all oppressed my family, and now you want to erase our names from the family tree. They had all thought Cheng Shan was a pushover, so hearing him now, everyone just stared with their mouths hanging open. He had finally decided to stand up and fight back. You people have gone way too far. Even so, Taijian intentionally didn't let a single word sink in. How I do things is none of your business. In short, you and your son are no longer part of the Li family. Then he completely changed the subject to boast about accomplishments. Look at their Xiao Yun, so young and already a deputy bureau chief, and I hear he's getting promoted next week. The way this shameless guy told it, the kid was a genius. And Qing Yun is now the vice principal of a prestigious school, about to be promoted to principal next month. Plus, he helps his second uncle take care of the family business. Taijian didn't actually know any of the details, but he kept showering them with praise anyway. More importantly, today he invited a major figure from Chu province, the big boss of Manhwa real estate, Hu Tong. With such a powerful backer from that mysterious young sect, our Li family will finally rise up and become a first-class family in Yun province. Taijian then deliberately aimed his insults back at Cheng Shan. Li Cheng Shan, now look at your own good-for-nothing son. I hear he's just some lowly intern teacher. Having heard about Xiaofan's situation, the old man had plenty of fuel for his mockery. You sold off all your land and your factory to arrange a marriage for him, only to get thrown out by the girl's family. Utterly humiliating. In truth, all the old man cared about was the family's reputation. Li Xiaofan, someone like you is unworthy of the Li name. You're just a disgrace who can't hold his head high. If you were even half as capable as Xiao Yun and Qing Yun, if you had just a tenth of my backbone, I wouldn't have kicked you out of the Li family. As annoying as it was, he had to just suck it up and listen to the old man's rant. The moral of the story? Blame yourself for not being tough enough. This world is just that brutal. Then the old man switched to that incredibly grating, I'm teaching you a lesson tone. All right, consider me just a humble bystander, here to teach you all a lesson. Oh, and please, don't thank me. The moment he finished, Thon Fong, the resident gossip, chimed in. Old Third, I told you guys not to go against us, but you never listen. Now you're embarrassed in front of everybody. Thon Lam, also puffed up with self-importance, sneered. Listen to good advice and you'll always eat well. But you and your father are a couple of stubborn mules, always insisting on getting your heads bashed in. So who can you possibly blame now? Looks like these clan members picked up the same bad habits from their master. That's right, you're not worthy of being part of our Li family. Just drop the family name from now on and stop embarrassing all of us. Thon's son, being the gentle soul he was, started trembling under their pressure, his face turning a pale shade of fear. Just then, someone finally stepped up to defend him. Clan Chief, I don't think Brother Thon's son was in the wrong about what happened that year. Min Trung had just shown up, but he didn't hesitate to challenge the mob. Don't you think ganging up on a father and son like this is going a bit too far? Seeing him arrive, Thon's son was incredibly grateful and breathed a huge sigh of relief. Brother Min Trung, you shouldn't have. In the entire Li family, you're the only one brave enough to say a fair word for me. Man. Xiaofan recognized him immediately. This guy was his family's savior. Uncle Min Trung was his father's one and only sworn brother. Even in his past life, when his father tragically passed away, it was only Uncle Min Trung who was willing to help him. He gave him the 20,000 he had to give his father a proper burial. Meanwhile, Tai Qian went right back to threatening everyone with his authority. Li Min Trung, you're just a distant relative from a minor branch of the family. How dare you talk back to us? What right do you have to even be speaking here? Furious, the old man dramatically pulled a book from inside his robes, then licked his calligraphy brush a few times, preparing to write. Still talking back to me? Tai Qian threatened as he flipped through the pages. Li Thonsun, Li Xiaofan, open your eyes and watch this. From this day forward, the two of you are officially removed from the family registry, and then he actually did it, just struck their names from the book. Anyone who dared to stand in his way would be crushed. The old man flashed a truly disgusting smile. And you, Li Min Trung, you like sticking your nose in other people's business so much? Fine, your name gets crossed out too. He was so furious he didn't hold back anymore. Fine, erase it. I've been sick of this clan for a long time. All you do is fight amongst yourselves. There's no family spirit here. After giving it a moment's thought, Min Trung decided to go all in with his good brother. Brother Thonsun, if this place won't have us, another one will. The worst that can happen is we just leave. Why should we stay here and put up with this nonsense? Seeing they weren't the least bit scared, Tai Qian pulled another stunt. Li Min Chung, you think this is over? The old man called out to his clan members. Men, where are you? Drag these two family embarrassments away, give them 50 lashes each, and then kick them out of the Li family. With that, his goons each grabbed a club and started to surround them. Xiaofan had been watching this whole time, and he'd finally had enough. You pathetic insects. With a light stomp of his foot, energy immediately erupted all around him. It formed a protective sphere around Thon Son and Min Trung, blasting away the approaching clansmen. Oof! Ah! The pathetic goons tumbled over, landing face first in a pile of puke left behind by some other family members. Only then did Xiaofan speak up. You old fool, I had no intention of wasting my time on someone so clueless. I tolerated your ridiculous ramblings, but then you dared to humiliate my father and curse the name of my mother. Unable to do a thing, Tai Qian started shaking with fury. You! But Xiaofan had seized control and didn't hesitate to criticize the old man right back. What about me? A man who twists the truth and can't tell black from white is completely unfit to be the clan chief. The old man's eyes went bloodshot with rage, and he ground his teeth, unable to reply. You? Xiaofan majestically and fearlessly scolded him right to his face. You're immoral, incompetent, and a complete fool. How can the great Li family possibly let a scumbag like you be in charge? You will resign as chief, the kid glared, emphasizing every word. Now get the hell down from there. Tai Qian was stunned. He never imagined the boy could utter such words. The sky is falling. It's really falling. Then he collapsed into a coughing fit, spitting up blood. After a few more coughs, he suddenly collapsed, and the clansmen rushed to his side. Clan chief! Clan chief, are you okay? One of the smarter ones immediately pressed the pressure point on his upper lip. Clan chief, come on, wake up! Thon Lam, not knowing what else to do, turned to blame the kid. Li Xiaofan, you disrespectful nephew, you've angered the chief to death? Fan Fong, who was just a puppet this whole time, simply echoed him. A tragedy for the family. What an absolute tragedy. Third brother, just look at your son. Daring to humiliate the clan chief in front of all these people, and this guy actually thinks he has the right to give orders? Get on your knees and apologize to the old patriarch now. The pack of clueless clan members started shouting too. Kneel down! Hurry up and kneel! Look how furious you've made the patriarch! But Xiaofan wasn't about to be pushed around. You want me to apologize? Then who's going to apologize and compensate my father? Who's going to apologize to Uncle Mingzhong? He was still trying to reason with these idiots. Years ago, all of you conspired to steal every last thing my father owned. Who's going to apologize to my family for that? You think a bunch of worthless worms are worthy of my apology? You couldn't handle it. Xiao Yun, who already despised him, wasn't hearing a word of it. Socially, in terms of status, you're nothing compared to me and Qing Yun. A lowly trainee teacher like you has the nerve to run your mouth here? Who do you think you are? Qing Yun chimed in with a sneer. And you dare say the patriarch isn't fit to be the family head? I suppose you think you are? Why don't you go look at your own pathetic reflection in a mud puddle? These words sent all of them into a roaring laugh. Ha ha ha. Tai Jian pointed a finger in Xiaofan's face, dripping with arrogance as he insulted him. Oh, Li Xiaofan, Li Xiaofan. A little punk like you wants to be the head of the Li family? You must be delusional. A clan member seized the chance to suck up. Patriarch, I think this kid has lost his mind from desperation. I mean, what normal person talks like that? Is his brain broken? Maybe he got it slammed in a door. Shuangji was sprawled on the ground, absolutely seething. You rotten kid, you got me with one of your cheap tricks. You got guts? Let me call my boss over here. But our guy just waved a hand dismissively. Call whoever you want. I'll be right here waiting. On the other end of the line, Chao Long flipped out when he heard his subordinate's call, sending his tea set flying. He growled around a cigarette. Damn it! Someone dares to touch my people on my turf? They've really got a death wish. He paced around the room anxiously, rambling to a fat guy. Shanji, you said his name is Li Xiaofan, right? What a coincidence. Zhao Qianduo told me my own brother, Zhao Qianju, was killed by a kid with that very name. Not only that, but he destroyed the business I spent over 10 years building in Yunzhou. After calling his men, Chao Long roared with arrogance. I'm heading over there right now. I'm going to skin that kid alive and break his bones. Cheng Lin, thinking he had this in the bag, got cocky. Li Xiaofan, you are so dead now. Shanji's boss, Chao Long, is on his way. Chao Long is the king of Yunzhou. When he stomps his foot, the whole city trembles. Xiao Yun, standing nearby, just had to add. Plus, I heard Chao Long is extremely protective of his people. Shuangji laughed with arrogant confidence. Oh, my boss is definitely protective, you have no idea. A while back, some guy from another province came through Jianglong. He disrespected us and crippled one of my boss's junior members. My boss didn't say a word, just dragged the guy into a toilet and shot him dead. Hearing this, Xiao Wen stroked his chin and smirked. Li Xiaofan, I really want to see if you can survive today. Qing Yun had to add his 2 cents. Is that even a question? This kid is a goner. Wants to be the Li family head? Maybe in his next life? Ha ha ha, Mingzhong frantically turned to his friend. Brother Chengshan, Chao Long is really coming. What are we going to do now? But the man just clenched his fist, looking at his son with total confidence. Brother Mingjong, I believe in my son. He made it clear he was proud of him. My son. He's completely different from who he used to be. He stays calm and cool when things get crazy, and he never makes a move unless he's sure of it. He wouldn't do anything to make his old father worry. But Chenglin wasn't buying it, just laughing his head off. Ha ha ha, third brother, oh third brother, you can barely save your own skin, and you still have the energy to comfort others? Chengfeng stroked his few scraggly beard hairs, saying smugly, I suggest you take your son and kneel at the door. Welcome young Master Chow when he arrives. If you're lucky, he might feel merciful and spare the lives of you two dogs. Shuangji tapped a wooden stick in his hand, his face a mask of pure arrogance. Old man Li, if you can't kneel, I can help you by breaking both your legs. The threat made Chengshan's face turn pale as he started to tremble like a leaf. Seeing this fear made him even cockier. He pointed the stick at the old man and yelled, Remember how your son hit me earlier? When young Master Chow gets here, I'm going to repay it 10 times over, 100 times over, on you, old man. Seeing his father get insulted, Xiaofan couldn't stand it anymore and finally spoke. Are you looking to die? The words barely left his mouth before he unleashed a monster slap that sent Shanji flying, blood spraying like fireworks. Whack! The blow was so hard he flew from the courtyard into the street, squealing like a pig. Ah! Seeing him get knocked flat, Qingyun went ballistic. Li Xiaofan, you still dare to hit Shanji? Just you wait. I can't wait to see how you handle young Master Chow's fury. He frowned, his voice pure ice. Li Qingyun, you dare threaten me, a useless dog who only knows how to eat? The guy was all talk. The second Xiaofan threatened him, his face went pale and he trembled, not daring to fight back. Knowing he couldn't win, he started whispering to Xiao Yun. Big bro, I've got a brilliant idea. Let's invite all the big bosses we asked to the Patriarch selection to come here right now. He whipped out his phone to make the call, with so many bosses from Yunzhou showing up. Even a guy as tough as Li Xiaofan would have to back down and behave. Unless, of course, he never planned on making a living in Yunzhou again. From outside came the roar of motorcycles, rumble, rumble, rumble. A whole crew of gangsters armed with knives and claws stormed into the Li family's house. Jiao Long, their leader, took a smug drag from his cigarette and spoke. Where's Li Xiaofan? Get out here and face me. Shanji, lying on the ground, stammered for help. Boss, save me. Seeing his subordinate looking so wrecked, Jiao Long seethed. All right then, you dare beat my man until he's unrecognizable? If I don't get my respect back today, how am I Jiao Long supposed to make it in Yunzhou anymore? Who'd even want to be my underling? Just then, Jiao Long spotted Xiao Yun and gave him a warm greeting. Hey, isn't this my brother Xiao Yun? Long time no see. Jiao Long had just arrived, but was already laying it on thick. I heard from Li Debo that you were promoted to Deputy Chief of the Secret Department, and it's about to be made official. I'm here to congratulate you in advance, Chief Li. Your future is looking bright. The two shared a hearty handshake and made small talk. Oh, by the way, I also heard today is the Li family's Patriarch selection. You absolutely have to let me join in. Seeing this, Tai Qian immediately started to brag. See that, Li Xiaofan? Even a huge figure like young Master Jiao is here for the Li family's Patriarch selection, and it's all out of respect for Xiao Yun. You, on the other hand, can just wait to face the wrath of young Master Jiao. Suddenly, a clansman ran in excitedly, waving an envelope. Old Patriarch, a big boss, sent a gift. Some people clearly still hadn't figured out what was going on. The beautifully decorated envelope opened to reveal a long, wordy scroll. The clansman began to read. Old Master Shu, head of the Yunzhou Commerce Guild, presents a 1,000-year Tianshan ginseng, wishing the Li family prosperity. The head of the Chu family, Chu Tianzheng, gifts a crate of Narcissus plate porcelain from the Qing dynasty, to be used to solemnly honor the Li family ancestors. The next name on the list made him do a double take. Ouyang Payer, CEO of the Ouyang Group, gifts the 4 treasures of the study, a Tanglong inkstone, and an original masterpiece, The 8 Steeds by the master Yan Yu. A long line of people began carrying in stack after stack of gifts, and it seemed endless. The second-ranked master of Chuzhou, Temple Master Li Shizhen, gifts the 3 cauldrons treasure, wishing Mr. Li a long and fortunate life of 100 years. Big brother De Kang, leader of Chuzhou's East District, and Baizi, the boss of the West District, along with sister Yan, the queen of the commercial district, have jointly sent 3 lavish gifts. Every box was huge and heavy as it was carefully placed in the courtyard. Soon enough, the entire courtyard was a glittering mountain of gifts and treasures. You couldn't wipe the grins off the Li family's faces. Old Master Shu from the Yunzhou Commerce Guild. I can't believe such a big shot sent a gift to our family. That's right, and Temple Master Li too, the second-ranked master in all of Chuzhou. His reputation alone is terrifying. The clan members started gossiping excitedly. That female CEO of the Ouyang group, she's known as the most beautiful CEO in all of Chuzhou. The moment Tai Qian saw the mountain of gifts, his eyes lit up. Old Master Shu, head of the Commerce Guild, and Old Master Chu. Since when does our Li family know all these powerful officials? I mean, this ceremony is clearly for the Yunzhou Li family. So why were all these fancy folks from Sochao dropping off gifts? Tu Van seized the moment to lay it on thick. Patriarch, you're a legend in Van Chao, a man of immense respect. When it comes to status, everyone has to call you Old Senior. You know, out of sheer respect. The cards on these gifts all congratulate the Lai family ceremony, so clearly everyone's here to kiss up to you. Today's the Lai family's big ancestor ceremony, and they were probably scared they'd miss you, so they came early. Than Van jumped right on that bandwagon, praising the old man to the heavens. Big brother is right. These gifts show serious respect. Besides, these big shots definitely came because they heard about your reputation. He made sure to butter up Tu Van too. Patriarch, you saw it yourself just a minute ago, right? Even young Master Q, the top mob boss, greeted my big brother with the utmost respect. Oh, those words were pure music to his ears, but he deflected. In my opinion, the old patriarch is the one with the real connections and the bigger name. I'm completely in awe of you, sir. Seriously. All I did was call a few small-time bosses to help me save face. I never imagined the patriarch was on another level, able to casually summon huge figures like the head of the Van Chao Chamber of Commerce. You have to admit, Thon Van was a smooth talker, and he wasn't done. There's also the big bosses and top ladies from So Chao. The head of the So family, a gorgeous CEO, some official or another. Their reputations are massive. This time Li Xiaofan won't dare act so smug around us. Then, all of a sudden, one of the clansmen noticed something was off. He pulled a card from a gift box that read, "Congratulations, Li Taijuan." He immediately scrambled over to report to Taijian. Patriarch, this isn't right. The card from the Yunzhou Chamber of Commerce is addressed to Li Taishuan. The old man just blinked, scratching his head in confusion. Weird. My name is clearly Li Taijian, not Li Taishuan. Did he spell it wrong or something? Another clansman, seizing the moment, chimed in nervously. Oh, definitely, Patriarch. They must have just remembered your name wrong. A few other Li family members added their 2 cents to save the old man's pride. That's right, that has to be it. Important people are so forgetful. Exactly. Besides you, our patriarch, who else here would be worthy of receiving such grand gifts? Hearing this, Taijian's mood brightened instantly, feeling completely satisfied. Of course it was him. Who else could it be? That worthless ragamuffin, Li Xiaofan. Lian Yu decided it was time to drop a truth bomb. Li Taishuan is my master's name, you ignorant fools. Her words were immediately followed by roaring laughter. Ha ha. Qing Yun certainly didn't believe a word she said. Is this little girl joking? Li Taishuan is Li Xiaofan? You mean to tell us all these big shot bosses are here to personally give gifts to him? Ha ha ha. You're gonna make me laugh to death. Another clansman stepped up to try and teach her a lesson. Look, kid, since you're young and don't know any better, I'll let it slide this time. Now apologize to the patriarch, or I'll have to discipline you. Lian Yu was not exactly thrilled to be lectured by this guy. She instantly unleashed a threatening aura. Looking for death, are you? But Xiaofan quickly stepped in to stop her from going too far. He used a soft yet commanding tone. She isn't wrong. I am Li Taishuan. The crowd exploded with laughter again, and Qing Yun's voice dripped with even more scorn. Li Xiaofan, we show you a little respect and you really think you're somebody now? Xiao Yun looked at him like he was a pathetic clown. Li Xiaofan, you really are shameless. You see that the big bosses from Yunzhou aren't here yet, so you're using this opportunity to desperately make yourself look important? Cheng Lin and Cheng Feng also jumped at the chance to mock him. I advise you to learn your place. These gifts are obviously for the patriarch. How dare you claim they're for you? As expected from a family of poor devils, poor and greedy. If these gifts are really for him, I'll start calling him Grandpa. Through all of this, Xiaofan just smiled calmly, waiting for the real show to start. Just then, a convoy of supercars began pulling up to the Li family gate. Qing Yun confidently stepped forward to greet them. Li Xiaofan, the big bosses who sent the gifts are all here now. Your lie is about to be exposed. Let's see you try to talk your way out of this. Qing Yun, with a serious face, pointed at the servants. Well, clear these gifts out of the way. Make a path for our honored guests. They quickly bowed. Yes, sir. By this time, luxury cars filled the entire entrance. One by one, middle-aged men in designer suits stepped out and entered the Li family home. Everyone bowed politely, greeting each other with respect. Director Li, Vice Principal Li, it's been too long. I hope you're both well. Mr. Zhang Tianhao, we never expected you to come and support our Li family in person. Chairman Liu, what brings you here? Come in, please come in. Factory manager knew you came too. Qing Yun smugly pushed up his glasses. Li Xiaofan, do you see the difference between you and us now? Besides knowing how to fight, what else do you have? How could you possibly compete with us? Do you have any powerful friends in Yunzhou you can rely on? If you're so capable, call one of them right now to come defend you. Xiao Yun agreed, smugly tapping his own temple as if telling him to get his head checked. That's right, this society is all about connections. Li Xiaofan, you're nothing but a simple-minded meathead. Compared to my brother and me, you're not just a little bit behind. The chatty Qing Yun couldn't help but add. Plus, today a very important figure came all the way from Chuzhou just to attend our Li family's patriarch selection. He's the man behind the entire Wanhua Hudong industrial empire. He's an absolute titan in Chuzhou, a legend in high society. They say it's almost impossible to even get a meeting with him. The two of them were practically hopping with glee, thinking about how this big shot's support would elevate them. The Li family will become the #1 family in Yunzhou. We might even expand beyond Yunzhou, it's not just a dream anymore. Xiao Yun suddenly remembered something. Qing Yun, that VIP from Chuzhou you mentioned, why isn't he here yet? You don't think something happened, do you? Should I try calling him? He took out his phone, ready to dial, but then hesitated. Seeing Xiaofan surrounded by everyone, he put it away. Nah, no rush. A man that important will definitely show. Before he arrives, let's just enjoy watching Li Xiaofan's final, pathetic demise. Q Long took a final dramatic drag from his cigarette and put on his best tough guy voice. Li Xiaofan, you the one who beat up my boy, Sung Ke? Xiaofan just crossed his arms, totally unimpressed. Yeah, I hit him. So what? The big man actually seemed a little thrown by that. Meanwhile, on the ground, Sun Ke started his sob story. Boss, please, you gotta stand up for me. And it's not just me. This Li Xiaofan guy even beat up my uncle and nephew. He's a menace. Q Long went quiet, trying to size up this scrawny-looking kid. His clothes were cheap, and his house was just some 2-story shack in the country. It looked like Sun Ke was right, this kid was just a nobody that the Li family didn't give a damn about. He pointed a shaky finger at the boy and shouted, Enough talk! Let me tell you something, Zhao Qian Duo's brother, Zhao Qianju, were like this. Q Long puffed out his chest. I don't know what dirty tricks you pulled to steal the Zhao family's money, but since Zhao Qianju is dead, all that stuff should belong to me. Then he let out a smug little laugh. So I suggest you just hand over the entire Zhao family fortune, nice and easy. Or else what? Xiaofan shot back, looking about as scared as a block of granite. Seeing that his threats weren't working at all, Q Long completely lost it. Li Xiaofan, are you blind or something? Do you not see all the guys I brought with me today? All these bosses from Yunzhou? I thought you were supposed to be some tough guy. If you've got guts, show me what you've got, he yelled, throwing his arms out wide, basically daring him. Go on, I dare you to hit me right here. Well, never one to disappoint, Xiaofan planted a crisp slap right across that arrogant face. The smack echoed through the stunned silence. Everyone was shocked, especially Sun Ke. What just happened? The guy yelped, dazed and in pain. Oh yeah, Xiaofan was enjoying this. Hey, if you ask for a slap, I'm happy to oblige. Q Long grabbed his cheek, screaming. Are you crazy? You're a lawless, insane little punk. Everybody get him! But right then he heard a weird noise. He turned around to see a supercar literally flying out of the sky. A voice from inside announcing, This road is impassable. This road is impassable. Q Long and his entire crew just stared up, completely dumbfounded. What in the world is that? The Land Rover slammed onto the pavement, sending everyone scrambling for cover. Whoa, be careful, what's going on? Then the car's navigation cheerfully chimed in, You have arrived. Penguin Maps is happy to be of service. An annoyed Q Long stomped over and kicked the car. What the hell, who are you? Driving like that in front of me, you got a death wish? The driver's door swung open, smacking him right in the kisser. Yun Tian stepped out, muttering, Stupid GPS. Road impassable. It's just a few parked cars. Did it really think that could stop me? He strutted forward without a single glance at his surroundings, and in doing so, he casually stepped right on top of Q Long. When he finally noticed the guy under his foot, Yun Tian didn't apologize. He actually got angrier. Yeah, I'm arrogant. So what? When I decide to go somewhere, not even the gods themselves can stop me. Meanwhile, Qing Yun thought this show-off was here for him and got all giddy whispering to Tai Jian. No way, it's Lei Yun Tian from the Kang Long Guild. That's the famous young master Lei from Chuzhou, old patriarch. I can't believe young master Lei would actually come to our Li family's ancestor ceremony. He then launched into a full-on hype speech about Yun Tian. Apparently, the Kang Long Special Forces is the most elite unit in the entire Wuxia military. Its members are the best of the best, handpicked from hundreds of thousands of soldiers. Each one is an ace-level warrior with the most advanced tech, and they only take on the most ridiculously dangerous missions. The team's reputation is huge, but young Master Lei's personal fame is the stuff of legend. Master, he's the former chief instructor for the Kang Long unit, Long Tianch. He was already a war hero when he was just a kid. There isn't a single person in all of Chuzhou who hasn't heard of him. Tai Jian beamed with pride, looking at his two grandsons as if they'd earned the credit. Young Master Lei must be here out of respect for Xiao Yun. After all, becoming a bureau chief at his age is incredible. His future is bright. The future of the Li family rests entirely on Xiao Yun's shoulders. Hearing all this, Xiao Yun's ego was inflating like a parade float. Even the great young Master Lei traveled all the way from Chuzhou just for him. He never realized he was such a big deal. With young Master Lei backing him, his career was basically set. It would be a non-stop ride to the top, right? Tai Jian shuffled forward nervously. Young Master Lei, welcome. For you to honor our family's ceremony, this old man is truly humbled. The guy turned and barked at him with zero respect. Old man, who are you? Get out of my way. The sudden coldness left the old patriarch completely stunned and a little heartbroken. Tian, he finally spoke up. Brother Lei, that's him over there. Lei Yuntian scanned Xiaofan from head to toe, his expression dripping with disdain. I honestly don't get why Chief Zurong wants Li Xiaofan as the head instructor for the Kang Long unit. Just looking at him, he's obviously no match for the last instructor, Long Tiangang. Van Tian cut him off flat. Thian Hawk, shut your mouth. I hate Li Tu Fam as much as you do, but don't forget we have a mission today. The mission is more important than anything. Tu Fam looked the guy over. You're the one who sent that challenge for Tran Hien Luke? I'm surprised you're also with the Thuong Long Brigade. Van Tian stepped in to explain. Li Tio Fam, Thian Hawk is my subordinate. Naturally, we came here to find you. Tu Fam figured they were just looking for another beating. My defeated foe. Wasn't last time's loss humiliating enough for you? Hearing Tu Fam's cocky remark, the guy practically burst into flames, his aura flaring with some serious power. I only lost once. I, Loi Van Thien, bow to no one except for my master, Long Dien Can. Li Tu Fam, if you've got the guts, let's have a real fight later. I won't lose to you a second time. Tai Qian, who was standing by completely clueless, decided this was his moment to interject. Excuse me, young Master Loi, but are you mistaken about something? This Li Tu Fam kid was kicked out of our family. He's just a student teacher. The old man pointed to his own precious grandson and launched into a bragfest. The star of the show today is my eldest grandson, Tu Van. That's right, the deputy bureau chief of the newspaper, Lai Tu Van. You must be here to congratulate him on his big promotion, right? Tu Van is the most exceptional young talent in the entire Li family, you know? The guy could not take any more of this nosy, tactless old man. He pointed right at him and yelled, "What is this garbage? You think I'd show up for a lowly deputy chief of some tiny newspaper? Tell your newspaper's director to come crawling out here to beg me, then maybe we can talk." After Van Thien's little declaration, the Lai family was just stunned into a horrified silence. Then, a new voice echoed from the gate. Make way, make way." A line of bodyguards entered, led by none other than Tuyet Lian, the eldest daughter of the So family. So Tuyet Lian of So Chao had arrived. Every head in the room swiveled to look, each person's face filled with pure reverence. As one, they all greeted Miss So. She just glided in slowly, radiating an untouchable, noble air. Of course, Tai Keen immediately thought she was there for him and started trembling with absolute delight. I can't believe it, the eldest daughter of the So family came to our ancestral rites. The So family runs both the legal and illegal worlds. Does this mean the Lai family is finally making a comeback? That's it, Van Chao is too small for us. It can no longer contain the great Lai family. From today, the Lai family expands from Van Chao to So Chao. He slowly shuffled forward with a huge grin. Welcome, Miss So. This humble man is the patriarch of the Lai family. She didn't even bother to reply, just walked straight past him, leaving the old man frozen on the spot like a statue. The moment Van Tien saw Tuyet Lien, his eyes lit up and his cheeks turned bright red. He wasn't even trying to hide his interest. He immediately flashed a warm smile and put a hand on his chest, trying to look sincere. Tuyet Lien, I can't believe you're here too. You must have come because you knew I'd be here, right? But she ignored him completely, turning her back without a single glance. Van Thien fell to his knees in dramatic despair, while Thienhawk just stood beside him, patting his shoulder comfortingly. Tuyet Lien stopped right in front of Tu Pham, clasped her hands and bowed. My apologies, master. Your student is late. Then, two men walked in slowly behind her. It was Tu Kong and Am Fong. A gravelly voice spoke up. A bunch of maggots dare to bother Mr. Lai. Seeing Tu Pham being hassled, the man stepped up to defend him. Which blind dog dared to tick him off just now? When Qiu Long saw the old man, his face turned pale with sheer terror. The old man just clenched his fist, a clear threat. Now I'm going to make him disappear from this world. Qiu Long started stammering, trying to greet Tu Kong. Master Tran, I didn't realize you were here. The guy was still trembling, begging for his life. Brother Xiao Yun, save me, please save me. But our hero had no intention of saving him. He was too busy panicking himself. Dude, don't you dare drag me down with you. In front of Miss Chu and young Master Lei, I'm absolute scum. I don't even have the right to speak, let alone get near the infamous Master Chen. He never imagined that even that man would side with Li Xiaofan. Qiaolong instantly knew he'd messed with the wrong person and immediately dropped to his knees. He slammed his head on the ground, repenting over and over. Mr. Li, Miss Chu, Master Chen, spare me, please, spare my life. Lian Yu rushed forward, ready to unleash a world of hurt. Weren't you the one who wanted to discipline me earlier? Qiao Long spun around in a flash, desperately denying it. No, it wasn't me. She couldn't care less and kicked him square in the rear. I don't care if it was you or not. This lady holds a grudge. He was kicked into the sky, screaming hopelessly for help. As his silhouette slowly vanished, our boy was blasted off to paradise. A wicked grin spread across her face. Hee, just fly around for a little while. By now, Tai Jian was pale with fear, breaking out in a cold sweat. The old man still shamelessly approached Xu Lian. Excuse me, Miss Chu, aren't you here to attend the Li family's ancestor worship ceremony? What is this all about? Without hesitation, she landed a stinging slap on his face and proceeded to give him a piece of her mind. You really think too highly of yourself. Who do you think you are? Are you even worthy of speaking to me? The Li family has a VIP like my teacher here, and you people don't appreciate him? You even kicked him out? You are truly clueless. But Qing Yun stubbornly shot back. What kind of joke is this? What makes Li Xiaofan some kind of big shot? Let me tell you, the real VIP is about to arrive. This guy clearly didn't grasp the severity of the situation. Tai you've all heard of the big boss behind the Wanhua Hudong estate, haven't you? He's also the headmaster of our Oriental Star Noble School. And on top of that, he's the #1 grandmaster in Chuzhou. Qing Yun thought he still had a chance to turn things around. No matter how good Li Xiaofan is, how could he possibly compare to that man? The Li clan members were suddenly bursting with confidence. That's right, we still have a card up our sleeve. What's there to be afraid of? Today, no matter what, we have to crush Li Xiaofan's entire family under our feet so he can never make a comeback. An indignant Shui Lian stepped forward for Xiaofan. You're a bunch of blind fools. My teacher is the VIP you've all been waiting for. The big boss behind the Wanli Hudong enterprise. The headmaster of the Oriental Star Noble School. The #1 grandmaster in Chuzhou, and my teacher's other title is Li Taishuan. At that moment, a medal flew toward him, followed by a loud voice. Li Xiaofan, this is the captain's medal for the Kanglong Special Ops Team, which Officer Su Rong ordered me to bring you. Startled to hear his name, he looked up to see what was happening. Looking impossibly cool, he effortlessly caught the medal with one hand. Yun Tian grumbled with an annoyed look. I'm not happy about giving the Kanglong team's chief instructor token to Li Xiaofan, but what Shui Lian said is correct. A pathetic little clan like this is nothing in the eyes of our Kanglong team. You're not even worthy of shining my shoes, yet you're shamelessly making a scene in front of everyone. Cheng Lin and Cheng Feng's long brewing plan was totally ruined. How could Li Xiaofan be Li Taishuan? Tai Jian, who'd been crushing Xiaofan's family, was now feeling deeply anxious. Xiao Yun and Qing Yun were panicked that their business deal had just gone up in smoke. But even Miss Chu and young Master Lei said so. Could the VIP we worked so hard to meet actually be Li Xiaofan? Qing Yun, finally feeling the fear, started to plead. So, what happens to the project between the Li family and the Wanhua Hudong Corporation? Li Xiaofan, let's keep business and personal matters separate, okay? We've poured our entire fortune into this collaboration. You wouldn't be stingy about money, would you? Cheng Feng also humbled himself and begged him. That's right, Xiaofan. We're all one family in the end. We share the same blood. Tai Jian's attitude toward him had changed completely. Oh, Xiaofan, the old patriarch was just joking earlier. Surely you didn't take it to heart, did you? Seeing the tables turn, the old man immediately switched his tune. All right, I've decided you and your father are still part of the Li family. I'll add you back to the family tree right now. The old man tried to butter Xiaofan up. And what's more, all the property that belonged to your ancestors will be returned to you, every last bit of it. How about that? Li Xiaofan, don't be ungrateful. This is the biggest concession I, as head of the Li family, can make. The terms are incredibly generous. He didn't even pay attention, just shutting him down directly. Don't bother with all that trouble, because you are no longer the head of the Li family. As of right now, you are dismissed. Hearing this, Tai Qian looked like his soul had just left his body. Humiliated by the lecture, Tai Qian tried to save a little face. Li Xiaofan, do you have any idea what you're saying? If you're going to be this shameless, don't blame me for being rude. The old man's words were both a put-down and a power play. I admit, Qingyun and Xiaoyun really can't compare to you. But in the Li family, my word is final. I make the rules here. I've already removed you and your father from the family, so you have no right to say that. Xiao Fan, seeing the situation clearly, suggested a direct showdown. Rules are made by people, and people can break them. I don't mind leaving the choice up to the Li family members who are present right here. The lesser clan members were sweating bullets by now, listening silently to these ice-cold words. Let's have an election, right here, right now. Let everyone vote to choose the Li family patriarch. He smirked, throwing down the challenge with total confidence. Do you have the guts to do it? The old man, furious, clutched the book in his hand and immediately accepted the challenge. Why wouldn't I dare? A little punk who's still wet behind the ears dares to provoke me. You're just asking for humiliation. Tai Jian turned back to the Li family members and shouted enthusiastically. Now, all who agree I should be the Li family patriarch, please raise your hand. The old guy was actually feeling pretty smug. So what if you have Chu Shuelian and Lei Yuntian backing you, Li Xiaofan? This is Li family business. Outsiders can't interfere. The old man stroked his beard arrogantly, absolutely certain he was about to win. Besides, with my years of prestige, I am the supreme being in the Li family. Who would dare defy me? And then, awkward silence. The clan members just scratched their heads, nobody daring to make a move. What were they supposed to do now? Uh-oh. Seeing no hands, Taijian's face fell. He turned on Cheng Lin and Cheng Feng. Big brother, second brother, what is this? Losing face made him even nastier. Why aren't you raising your hands? Cheng Lin spelled it out for him. Old patriarch, can't you see the situation? Even the Chu family has picked a side. What's the point of you putting on this show? Cheng Feng was quick to switch sides, adding, besides, you're getting old. It's time for you to retire. Tai Jian was speechless, pounding his chest in fury. You traitorous son, what are you saying? Search your conscience. Do you deserve the upbringing I gave you? Turns out, Qing Yun just goes whichever way the wind blows. Old patriarch, my father and I are just trying to do what's best for you. You're old, you should rest. He nodded. That's right. He spoke respectfully, anxiously watching his younger brother's reaction. Xiao Fan didn't hide a thing. Actually, I've long felt you were the best choice for Li family patriarch. Right, about this year's branch budget. He cut him off before he could ramble on. Li Qingyun, as vice principal of the Dongfang Star High School's Yunzhou branch, you abused your position for personal gain. You embezzled public funds from the school for your own private benefit. As of right now, you are expelled. These words sent a jolt of fear through him. He never thought he'd be cornered like this, and still tried to fight back, talking nonsense. I don't know what you're talking about. You're slandering me. I'm gonna sue you. Xiao Fan didn't waste words. He just pulled out his phone with a preloaded recording. He turned the speaker way up for everyone to hear. Think about it. When I go on business trips abroad, it's all on the company dime. It's a waste not to spend it. On the recording, those were Qing Yun's own words, clear proof of his crimes. One time, I stayed at 3 different 7-star hotels on a foreign island. Travel, car service, hotel rooms, designer goods, all billed to the new school construction fund. I even skimmed a bit from the annual tuition fees. They'll never trace it back to me anyway. What's there to be afraid of? Hearing this, his legs were so shaky he could barely stand. Xiao Fan delivered the final blow. Li Qingyun, I advised you to turn yourself into the party for review, but you wouldn't listen. Now, you get what you deserve. Shuelian also waved her hand, signaling her subordinates to prepare for punishment. Li Qingyun, the evidence is clear. You're going to spit out everything you've swallowed these past few years. Cheng Feng rushed over, crying and begging Xiao Fan. Qing Yun was just momentarily confused. I'm begging you, go easy on him, let him go. He calmly reminded the man of his own cold actions from the past. Second uncle, when my father couldn't pay my school fees, he begged you just like this. He forcefully shoved the man away and questioned him angrily. But back then, did you ever help our family? This is the consequence you brought upon yourselves. Xiaofan's heart ached, remembering Cheng Shan's suffering in his past life. In his last life, he was wrongly imprisoned. His father knelt on the ground, begging them. But his 2 uncles never showed a shred of compassion. The more he thought, the more he hated this heartless scum. Even when his father kneeled until he couldn't get up, these stone-hearted people didn't flinch, and even mocked him relentlessly. Now the tables had turned. Xiao Fan impatiently asked them again. So, do you have anything else to say now? Tai Qian's face was pale as he stood there trembling, totally speechless. Our boy here remembered every word they said, ready to repay every bit of their humiliation. Didn't you all just say that if I were Li Taishuan, you'd kneel and call me grandpa? The crowd heard this and just froze, their eyes wide with a mix of shock and serious anxiety. Tai Qian refused to swallow this insult, shouting back, Li Xiaofan, don't push it. On what grounds do you think you can make me kneel? A few clan members, feeling brave, started yelling too. What's your rank in the family? We haven't even accepted you as the Li family head. No kneeling. Let's go, everyone. Just ignore him. Li Xiaofan, you're just a nobody. What gives you the right to make us kneel? Xiaofan simply raised his hand and gave the order. Kneel. A giant hand appeared in the sky and began to descend. Tai Qian was the first to get his head pushed down, letting out a pathetic squeal. The power radiating from it wasn't harmful, but it created an immense pressure, crushing them from above. The pressure is insane. I can't hold on much longer. Seeing their stubbornness, he applied a little more force. Are you going to kneel or not? Changlin was still trying to resist, absolutely refusing to kneel. Second brother, maybe you should just kneel first. Chengfeng wasn't having it either. No, 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 you're the eldest brother. You should be the one to kneel first. Then one guy couldn't take it anymore and just collapsed. The clan member started bawling his eyes out as he gave in. I'll kneel, I'll kneel. The others, unable to bear it, started dropping one by one. I'll kneel. Li Xiaofan, Grandpa Li, please spare my life. Seeing that they were all on their knees, our boy knew when to stop and withdrew his power. Tai Qian had become completely obedient. We begged the master to spare our lives. Xiaofan walked up to the old man with an overwhelming presence and said one word. Genealogy. Before Tai Qian could even process it, Xiaofan used his power to pull the family registry from the old man's hands. The book floated gently into his grasp. The old man screamed in terror. Li Xiaofan! What do you think you're doing? Xiaofan calmly flipped through the pages as he explained. If it wasn't for an old man like you pulling the strings back then, my father's inheritance would never have been swallowed by first and second uncle. Xiaofan flipped through the book until he found the page with the old man's name. Then, with a flicker of power, he lifted the name right off the paper. Today, you humiliated my father in front of everyone. Without a moment's hesitation, he crushed the floating characters, officially expelling him. I have removed your name from the family registry. From this moment on, you are no longer a member of the Li family. Tai Qian was furious, but could do nothing but curse. Rebellious son, you are a rebellious son. But he wasn't done yet. He decided to pull this problem out by the roots. Li Chenglin, Li Chengfeng, Li Xiaoyun, and you, Li Qingyun. The four of you have disgraced the Li family name and damaged our reputation. You are also banished. The four of them stood there, absolutely thunderstruck by his judgment. From now on, you are no longer part of the Li family, and you are forbidden from taking any of the assets left by our ancestors. Chenglin's attitude flipped completely, trying to salvage his fate. Xiaofan, Xiaoyun and I just came here to support you. The guy actually thought a few nice words would get him off the hook. That's right, Xiaofan. I've always cared for you the most since we were kids. You can't just kick us out of the family like this. Xiaofan looked at their pathetic, two-faced act and just sneered. Do I look like I need your support? Don't try to kiss up now that I'm on top. Not wanting to be humiliated, Xiaoyun angrily fought back. Li Xiaofan, don't get cocky. The idiot actually tried to act tough, claiming he could take him on by himself. Let me tell you, for better or worse, I'm the vice captain of the leopard group. If you really want to fight, nobody is walking away happy. Suddenly, something made him jump in terror, his face a mask of fear. Lian Yu made a casual gesture, snapping a branch and sending rocks flying, giving him a little reminder of his place. Your leopard group's director, Zhang? Yeah, I beat him to a pulp once. Keep acting tough, and tomorrow I'll have your group renamed the Dog Group. The four of them were now completely hopeless, left with no choice but to accept the consequences of their actions. Ming Zhong didn't let them linger, immediately calling clan members to kick them out. Didn't you hear the new family head? All of you, get lost. Xiaofan watched the chaos and began to reflect. Seeing those parasites finally get kicked to the curb was a huge relief, and he knew none of this would have happened if he hadn't been reborn. Today, his father, Uncle Ming Zhong, and himself would have been viciously humiliated by this group. It would have been a perfect repeat of the tragedy from his past life. With all of them finally gone, Xiaofan could finally ask for some help. Father, I can't stay with the Li family forever, so you'll have to be the one to manage the clan's affairs. Life is peaceful now. You got revenge for the family. It's time you took back the title of Li family patriarch. And hey, Uncle Min Trung could stick around to help. Thon Sun accepted this handover with the seriousness of a king. Fine, you run the Li family. He clapped Xiaofan on the shoulder, beaming with pride as he launched into the dad speech. Xiaofan, just look at everything you've accomplished today. I'm so happy, and if your mother could see this, she would be absolutely thrilled. The man had complete faith in him, promising to always be his backup. I've always known you had real talent. You shouldn't stay in a small place like Van Chao, but no matter where you go, I will always support you. Min Trung, who was basically always there to help, chimed in, Xiaofan, don't you worry, I'll definitely help Thon Sun manage the Li family. Just then, Shu Lian stepped forward, all polite and proper. Hello, uncle. My name is Chu Shui Lian. She gave Than's son the full introduction, explaining she was the master's disciple and hoped the elders would forgive her for being fashionably late. He saw she was beautiful and talented, and the gears in his head started turning. Could this girl, who looked just like Ouyang Pei Ni, also be on good terms with his son? Then bam, she whipped out a small, sparkling box and presented it to him. This agarwood bracelet, apparently, was a treasure a high monk from Mount Wutai had once given the Chu family. Than Son had never seen something so valuable and was completely stunned. The monk said wearing it would calm your spirit, regulate your life force, and extend your life. He awkwardly tried pushing it back to her. Miss Chu, this gift is far too precious. I can't possibly accept it. Shui Lian saw his dilemma and just shoved the box into his hand. Uncle, please take it. It's just a small token from me as the master's disciple. And right on cue, a few new characters start strolling in through the gate. Looks like they're all business bigwigs, probably here to kiss up because of Xiaofan's reputation. Greetings, Elder Li. We heard today was your ancestor day and just had to come congratulate you. They all bowed super respectfully, taking turns to deliver their little scripted lines, wishing Elder Li fortune, a long life, and all that good stuff. Congrats on becoming the new patriarch. May the Li family prosper. The sky over Yunzhou was perfectly clear and cool, the mountain scenery was dramatic, and everyone was dressed in their formal best. They all went to light incense on Ancestor Mountain, with Cheng Shan stepping up as the official spokesperson. Ancestors above, it is I, Li Chengshan, your new patriarch, here to lead the whole Li clan in worship and to comfort your spirits in heaven. Through the thick clouds of incense smoke, everyone put on their most serious faces and pretended to listen intently. Bless your descendants with happiness forever, and make the Li family great again. They all bowed together, repeating his words like a choir. Oh, the sheer authority of him leading the crowd, the utter solemnity of it all. And bless the Li family with happiness for generations to come. Finally, he carefully placed 3 incense sticks into the burner. With the ceremony done, Cheng Shan finally turned his attention to the clan's internal drama. I know you all followed the last patriarch, did some nasty things, and bullied poor relatives, which by the way included my family. But in a grand gesture, he decided to forgive them. I won't count your past mistakes against you, but from now on, you'll help me restore this family's honor. Now that they were forgiven, they were suddenly overwhelmed with remorse for everything they'd done, promising to really think about their actions. The clan members bowed their heads respectfully. Yes, patriarch. Even then, he couldn't stop feeling proud of how awesome Xiaofan was. I'm only the patriarch thanks to my son. If only Xiaofan's mother could see how successful we've become. Meanwhile, a tough-looking guy was cruising in a car. Yun Tian was driving Tian down a road winding through the mountains. Brother Lei, headquarters just sent a new mission. Their car, meanwhile, was rocketing up the slope towards Shu Mountain. On the mountaintop, the sky was clear and the sun was rising, when suddenly a voice called out, "Adjudicator Uncle Master." This time, our sect leader sent us to Yunzhou to investigate this Li Xiaofan character and figure out his true strength. He was obviously talking to a superior. I've heard Li Xiaofan's power is unbelievable. He reached the Grandmaster realm while he's still a kid. This Chu Shan fellow was already scared before even seeing the guy. Trying to back out, he whined to the adjudicator. Not only was our senior brother Fu Qingming no match for him, he even crippled Vice Master Ren Tianxing. I can't believe a prodigy like that exists. He just snapped back, completely annoyed. Ren Tianxing and Fu Qingming are 2 idiots, nothing but garbage in my eyes, especially that old fool Ren Tianxing. The adjudicator was openly contemptuous, refusing to admit anyone could be better than him. He's so old, and his power level isn't even close to mine. He just acts high and mighty because he's ancient. If he wasn't my senior brother, I would have crushed him long ago. Hey, and of course, this guy thinks he's the absolute best. I was in seclusion training at the time. Otherwise, an important job like protecting the superstar Murong Huansha would never have gone to those 2 losers. The adjudicator propped his foot on a high rock, still running his mouth without a pause. They not only failed to protect her, they embarrassed our entire sect. Getting crippled is what they deserved. Hey. He glanced down at the Li family group led by Cheng Shan. This little Li Xiaofan is just a useless ant in my eyes. Even if he beat Ren Tianxing, his power is absolutely no match for mine. He then focused his gaze, trying to see what was so special about the kid. After all, even a grandmaster has weaknesses, and boy, was this guy confident he could find them. He'd been a grandmaster for so many years, he thought. Just imagine how immense his power was. Crushing this little brat should be easy, right? The adjudicator started laughing like a maniac, then thought, but just killing him directly is a little too easy. He. The guy next to him just looked exhausted, listening to him ramble on to himself. What if he hears my great name, the Adjudicator, and gets so scared he runs away? We can't have that. Chu Shan cautiously tried to object. Adjudicator Uncle Master, that's probably not a good idea. The rules of the martial world say you only go after the one responsible. As soon as he heard that, the Adjudicator whipped around to glare at him, his voice dropping to a menacing growl. Chu Shan, are you trying to teach me how to do my job? Then he simply grabbed the guy by the throat and lifted him up. The poor guy was sweating buckets, trembling as he stammered. Adjudicator, Uncle Master, I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare. Looking disgusted, the Adjudicator just tossed him aside with a warning. Remember, in this world, if you're not ruthless, you can't stand your ground. Besides, that Li Xiaofan provoked our sect first and made us lose face. The Adjudicator continued scheming to himself. If I don't teach him a lesson, won't our peers in the martial arts world laugh their heads off, think our Xingyi school is a bunch of pushovers? He just steps right over the groaning Zhu Shan, totally ignoring the guy writhing in agony as he strolls away. And that was that. The scene shifts to some very solemn and ancient-looking traditional houses. You know the type. 3 men walk into a room where someone is already waiting. Chung Shan, wasting no time, gets straight to the point with them. The Li family assets left by Li Qingfeng and Li Qinglin, I'm not going to take them for myself. But this money must be used to help the struggling members of the Li family. Hearing this, they all happily and unanimously agree. The clan leader is so wise and respected, so let's do it this way. He's fair and reasonable. It's all for the Li family. We obey. Just then, footsteps approach. Chung Shan sees Xiaofan at the door and shoos the others away. That's enough for today. On behalf of the 3, Li Yi replies, Yes, of course. Seeing the group leave, Xiaofan quickly calls out to his father. He immediately asks about his mother. Isn't it time you told me? See, Xiaofan's carrying guilt from a past life's love drama. He didn't even get to see his mother one last time before he died. So in this life, no matter what, he's got to make up for that regret and reunite the whole family. Cheng Shan's mood instantly tanks, and he explains with a heavy heart. Xiaofan, even though I've become the head of the Li family, our family is still weak. Here in Yunzhou, we don't even count as a second-rate family. In all of Chuzhou, we have 0 standing. He slowly stands, his words getting heavier. But your mother's family to all of Huaxia is an absolute titan. He walks out slowly, his mind clearly a mess. If you go looking for her right now, you're just asking for a death sentence. Qingshan gets where Xiaofan is coming from, but he'd rather his son not get into trouble. Xiaofan, I know you're not the same kid you used to be, but you have to understand, there's always a bigger fish. So you should wait until you're stronger before we talk about this. This was not what Xiaofan wanted to hear at all. He was incredibly annoyed. Every time he brought up his mother, his father would deliberately dodge the question, never letting him dig any deeper. Looking utterly miserable, Changshan calls him back. But I have one wish I hope you can fulfill for me. The kid listens intently. Go on. He struggles to confess his long-held secret. Back then, your mother and I threw caution to the wind to be together, and both our families fiercely objected. Especially your mother's family, they always saw me as a thorn in their side, trying everything they could to get rid of me. He was a gentle soul with no status, so he knew exactly where he stood. Your mother's family is a true top-tier powerhouse. In their eyes, I was just an ant, completely unworthy of your mother. Me being with her was an insult to their prestigious family name and reputation. He thinks of the woman he loves, his voice filled with more pain and self-blame. Your mother went against immense pressure to be with me. She really paid a huge price. I just hate that I was so useless, causing our family to be separated for over a decade, and making you grow up without a mother, without a mother's love. As he says this, Cheng Shan's tears start to fall. He hopes Xiaofan understands. So please, don't ever blame your mother. This is all because I wasn't good enough. Hearing every word, he could feel the deep, throbbing sorrow in his father's heart. Dad must have endured endless torment and humiliation to be with Mom. Xiaofan grabs Cheng Shan's hand, hoping he'll trust him. Dad, don't worry. He looks at his father with sheer determination. He declares, I will absolutely help you fulfill this wish. Sooner or later, there will come a day when I will bring Mother back so our family can be reunited. Moved, his father wipes away his tears and gets back to business with Xiaofan. I miss your mother too, and I hope that day comes soon. But right now, I need you to do something for me. Chung Shan chokes up, remembering a difficult, stormy night. 20 years ago, when your mother and I ran away, we were hunted by assassins from her family. If it wasn't for a friend of mine who stepped in to help, your mother and I would have been goners at their cruel hands. Taking on a squad of high-level assassins alone would have been impossible, but that friend of mine was seriously injured because of it. For over 20 years, his wounds still haven't healed. It's all my fault for getting him involved. If not for me, my friend wouldn't be in this situation. He also feels guilty for not visiting his savior in so long. A while ago, I heard from an acquaintance in Hannan province that his injuries are getting worse. Chung Shan then entrusts this important task to Xiaofan, letting him go on behalf of the family. Xiaofan, didn't the Yunzhou Commerce Guild gift us a few boxes of nourishing herbs yesterday? I just took over the Li family. Things are crazy busy. If you have time, please take those boxes of 100-year-old Tianshan ginseng to my friend and check on his condition for me. Our boy here happily agreed, because the last thing he wanted was his dad worrying anymore. Dad, don't worry. A drop of kindness gets repaid with a river, especially when it's a life debt. I'll head to Hannam in a few days to get this done. And sure enough, the very next morning, Xiaofan was already on the road. Shui Lian went with him, though she had absolutely no idea what his plan was. Master, we're at Kangmang Mountain. Lian. You hopped out of the car, as our hero stopped to dramatically scan the surroundings. Business in his hometown was done, but before visiting Dad's friend in Hannam, might as well grab some treasure first. He marched toward the spot, totally lost in his head. After all, that weird altar was the first place he'd ever found a top-tier celestial treasure. And since he'd discovered it, why wouldn't he just take it for himself? Just an unexpected little bonus on this family errand. And look who it is. Li Qian was already there waiting for him. Xiaofan, I heard you were coming to Kangmang Mountain, so I got here early. Yin Feng and Chen Xikong are already waiting on the mountain. He gave a quick nod, then got all business, telling everyone to get a move on. Up the mountain, Xiaofan took the lead, heading up the steep mountain with the other three following behind. Suddenly, a red-hot iron chain whipped toward them. The moment they reached the altar, they saw Yin Feng just drop from the sky in agony. He luckily crashed into a bush, his entire body already a mess of bruises and scrapes. The second he saw Xiaofan, he scrambled up, sobbing. Mr. Li, you're finally here. The chain on the altar just suddenly went berserk. My master and I couldn't stop it even when we teamed up. Up above, Xikong was also struggling to hold on, waiting for him. Mr. Li, you have to be careful. These 9 chains are each packed with terrifying yin energy. Their power is like a grandmaster's full-force attack. I'm about to lose my grip. Li Qian could feel that insane power and started to panic. How in the world did these altar chains get so strong? Not even 2 grandmasters working together were a match for this thing. Shui Lian, who knew nothing about Yin Feng or Xikong, was even more confused. Wait, are they saying both of those guys are grandmasters? After a quick look at the altar, Xiaofan decided it was time for him to solve this. Those 9 chains are no joke. Your power level isn't high enough to deal with this, so just stay put. But Li Qian refused to just stand by and watch. Xiaofan, I have a special constitution. I can handle the chain's cold yin energy. I'm helping you. Shui Lian wanted to help too. Master, as your disciple, how can I just back down when there's danger? I have to go with you, too. Not wanting them to get hurt, he cleverly told them to stay behind. I need to refine these 9 chains on the altar soon. I actually called you here today for a different job. With that, he walked towards Xikong, who was desperately trying to restrain the powerful chains. He seriously assessed the heavy yin energy on the altar. These 9 iron chains weren't just some ordinary objects. They might just be another celestial treasure this place coughed up. Xikong was exhausted and quickly asked for his help. Mr. Li, hurry and help me. The 2 of us, plus my disciple Yin Feng, the 3 of us together might be able to subdue these chains. But Xiaofan just coldly shoved the old man to the side. Move. The old man was caught completely off guard and sent flying. Ah! Exhausted, he staggered while our hero stepped onto the altar, ready to fight alone. He stood firm in the center of the array, creating a solid protective shield with his power. The iron chains started attacking but couldn't even scratch his shield. Then all 9 chains ripped themselves free from the altar, aiming straight for Xiaofan. They formed a massive, swirling vortex right around him. But he wasn't scared at all, just calmly waiting as the chains wrapped tight around his shield. Only when he was completely bound did he finally decide to use his power. Outside, Li Qian and Shui Lian couldn't figure out what was happening and were totally worried about his safety. Xiaofan, master. Even Yin Feng, who trusted him, was terrified something awful was about to happen. Could it be that even Mr. Li was no match for this altar and its 9 demonic chains? Just then, Xiaofan's voice boomed out. Pathetic. A purple wave of power started to erupt from inside. With a single move, he easily shattered all 9 stubborn chains, emerging without a single scratch. Of course he did. The broken chain segments fell to the ground, bursting into magical flames, and yet, somehow, they started to squirm and slither on the ground. They gathered in one spot, slowly twisting around each other, merging into a single form. Finally, the yin energy took shape as a massive, ferocious snake. The giant python kept on fighting, spitting a blazing fire straight at Xiaofan. He didn't even flinch, just lazily raised a hand. A shield popped up and snuffed out the ferocious flames like it was nothing. Kong, who was pretty much running on fumes, yelled out a warning. Mr. Li, you have to watch out for this yin-killing cold chi. When I fought it, the stuff just sneakily ate away at my meridians and spirit energy. Meanwhile, Xiaofan calmly began pushing back the serpent's flames with all the urgency of a snail. Having done the mental math, he barked orders at the backup crew. 5 of you, get on the altar. 5 elements grand array positions, now. Shui Lian and Li Wan, who'd been nervously waiting for something to do, jumped to it immediately. Yes, teacher, Xiaofan, we got it. With Xiaofan in the middle, the other 5 hit their marks on the 5 corners, and just like that, the matrix was live. Yin Feng had zero clue what the plan was, but hey, he was great at following orders. Master, why would Mr. Li tell us to form a 5 elements array? What's he thinking? Kong was just starting to connect the dots himself. The 5 elements formation. Don't tell me Mr. Li is also a master of formation arts? But that art was lost 100 years ago. Could Mr. Li actually be one of those legendary formation masters from the stories? Xiaofan, meanwhile, looked totally determined, ready to get this show on the road. The path of cultivation has its limits for one person, especially on a spiritually dead planet like Earth. Having a few helpers would definitely pay off down the line. And with that, the matrix flared to life, and the power of the 5 began to vacuum up the spiritual energy all around them. Sitting in the center, he chanted a spell to collect all the serpent's power after finally taking it down. Only then did he bother to explain what was happening. I've refined all the nasty yin cold-killing chi in this place into pure spiritual energy, and how much you can absorb is totally up to you. Then, a massive wave of energy washed over all 5 of them, ready for the taking. Feeling that ridiculously rich power, Shui Lian's eyes popped wide open. She realized she'd just hit a new level of strength. I can't believe it. I just blasted through to grand completion of inner strength. She beamed at Xiaofan, who was busy holding the whole thing together. She'd always thought just being able to cultivate it all was a massive stroke of luck. She never imagined she'd get the chance to become a grand completion martial artist. Internally, she was thanking him a million times over. This whole thing honestly felt like a dream. She used to think she could never even touch the level of a grandmaster. To her, they were basically gods. But now, she was just one tiny step away from becoming one herself. It was all thanks to her teacher's gift. Meeting him was the best luck she ever had. Meanwhile, Li Wan also felt her own power starting to shift. The air around her condensed into frost. She felt her body going through some magical changes. She was thrilled with her new power. This yin-killing chi had once brought her nothing but misery and despair. Now she could control it, even play with it. This deadly energy couldn't hurt her anymore. In fact, she could command it however she pleased. After absorbing his fill, Yin Feng was also jolted, his eyes popping open in shock. After using a little bit of power, he was stunned. Master, I feel that the foundation of my Grandmaster realm, which was so unstable, has become incredibly solid. Even Kong couldn't believe his own power could actually still be growing. That's right, even my own cultivation, which has been stuck in the same place for years, seems to be showing signs of progress. Could I actually take another step forward in this lifetime? He looked at Xiaofan with overflowing admiration. This is all a blessing from Mr. Li himself. Lian Yu, however, was having the worst time. She was absolutely furious, feeling zero change no matter what she did. Why is everyone else changing except for me? Meanwhile, Xiaofan was zoning in, entering a completely different state of mind. The Myriad Heaven's Sacred Body. The single most powerful body cultivation technique in all the realms. His mind was ready for a personal upgrade. Chapter 1. Cultivate the Sacred Body. Endure a million hardships until the body is like crystal and the mind like steel. His inner power surged to life. Myriad Heaven's Sacred Body Technique. Lesson 2. Condense the spiritual energy of heaven and earth into a liquid, then turn that liquid into a new bloodstream to flow through all the body's meridians. He meticulously followed every step, basically hijacking the power of heaven and earth to make it his own. Suddenly, he felt something weird and his eyes snapped wide open. A huge gust of wind exploded from the altar, the pressure so intense it bent trees and sent birds flying sideways. Shuelian cried out anxiously, "Why did this crazy wind just show up out of nowhere? What's happening to our teacher?" Realizing something was wrong, Li Wan panicked even more. This pressure was somehow even scarier than a grandmaster's. Xiaofan's gonna be okay, right? Kong couldn't accurately judge the situation either. I'm not sure. From what I can tell, Mr. Li is. He gasped, witnessing the incredible scene. He's breaking through! Xiaofan's cultivation level shattered its limits, unleashing a massive wave of pressure. The formation turned into a giant energy pillar, shooting straight to the sky and trapping him inside. A massive energy column erupted from the altar, so bright it practically tore the sky open and made the entire mountain shake. The beam shot past the swirling clouds, radiating some terrifying power. Once the smoke cleared, there sat Xiaofan, looking peaceful but giving off this strange, powerful vibe. At this point, the guy lets out a long, weary sigh. Yep, his body had successfully transformed, finally reaching the pre-heaven realm. He slowly got to his feet, feeling sore all over. But after soaking up all that spiritual energy from the mountain, he only managed to produce a single drop of spirit fluid. Looks like mastering the all-heaven saintly body technique is going to take a very long time, and even with the power-up, something still felt a little off to him. He figured Earth's spiritual energy was just too thin. He'd broken through, sure, but his footing in this new realm felt seriously shaky. Seeing that everything went smoothly, Tuyet Lien was practically bouncing with excitement for the guy. "Teacher, congrats on the breakthrough. You totally leveled up." Meanwhile, Le Quien, who had been a nervous wreck, finally sighed in relief seeing her friend was okay. "Xiaofan, it's so good you're all right. You seriously scared the heck out of us during that whole light show." From behind, Yin Feng stepped forward to inquire, "If I may ask, Mr. Li, what realm have you actually reached now?" The guy had been racking his brain, but none of the possibilities seemed to add up. Transformation realm? Godhood? Something even higher? Our hero just gives a short, cold reply. Pre-heaven. The answer was so far beyond the guy's pay grade, he just turned to Sai Kong in confusion. Pre-heaven? What kind of realm is that? How come I've never heard of it? Master, do you know? The old man nearby overheard this and his eyes went wide. After all his years of study, he had indeed heard of this realm. He remembered reading about the pre-heaven realm in some ancient text before, but it was only mentioned in legends from thousands of years ago, and that knowledge was long lost. He was already suspicious, but now his curiosity about Xiaofan was off the charts. Could Mr. Li really be using cultivation methods from 1,000 years ago? Seriously, who was this guy? Over on the side, Lian Yu was starting to worry. Her own power hadn't budged, while her master's had just gotten way scarier. If her own cultivation keeps stalling like this, won't the new kids in town just leave her in the dust? As everyone talked, Tuyet Lien filled Xiaofan in on the crazy scene. "Teacher, when you broke through just now, it was absolutely terrifying. The wind was so strong we couldn't even lift our heads, and even the distant mountain peaks were shaking." Xiaofan heard this and got serious. "That's not right. Even though I reached the pre-heaven realm, my current power level shouldn't be enough to shake Kang Mang Mountain." Based on that hunch, he stood up to investigate, unless there was something else hidden inside this mountain. And just like that, the entire Kang Mang Mountain began to shake violently again. Tuyet Lien started freaking out, totally lost. What's happening? Why is the mountain suddenly shaking like this? Yin Feng was just as clueless and turned to him. "Mr. Li, didn't you just finish your breakthrough? Could some other master be breaking through nearby?" Right then, a gigantic beast's foot with razor-sharp claws burst right out of the ground. Le Quien, worried someone would get hurt, screamed a warning, "Watch out! Everybody, get back!" The claw lunged right for them, but luckily everyone dodged in time. Lian Yu, with her fiery temper, was instantly ticked off. "What the hell is this? How dare it sneak attack me?" As expected, the more experienced Sikong calmly started casting a spell. "Whatever foul creature you are, show yourself now." Yin Feng got the hint and powered up to help. "Eat this," he yelled. "Stargale Blood Rain Palm." His massive hand and its swirling magic closed in on the target, but suddenly, a giant tail whipped out from behind them for a sneak attack. They were caught completely by surprise. By the time they saw it, it was too late to fight back.